Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we are talking about Found, the not last book in the House of Night series, but
Fucking
supposed to be the
Christ.
last book in the House of Night Otherworld series. And as always, we open with ratings. First of all, we don't stand.
We don't stand.
No,
No
but we
standing. was
Nothing
had.
to stand here.
no. And I feel like we're all on the same page when I say I was overwhelmed. I was all of the overwhelmed.
I was overwhelmed and underwhelmed all at the same time.
There was just...
It's too much.
Because I know what you mean. I fall into that camp as well, because here's the thing. This book had no
plot.
Okay. Writing advice from Book Club with Bay. If you want to get away with having no plot, what you should do, and your book's going to be terrible, but you can do it, is you should have everything happen over and over again from 30 different perspectives, and your readers will commit suicide. So if you want a Jonestown-like experience from your audience.
Yeah, like, because
Mm-hmm.
we've discussed this with the Red Queen's War and Broken Empire trilogy. The first two books in both of those series, the plot can be said in like 10 words or less.
Right, which is, we've talked about that. Is like they're really difficult to talk. They were hard to talk about, like on book club.
Yeah, like because there's no subplots. It's real. Well, there's like kind of like series arcs, subplots, but like each book just has the one plot, and it's fine though.
Because you're totally entertained by what's happening, and there's lots of character stuff, and it's just entertaining because also the protagonists are a lot of fun.
Yeah, again, the first two books of both of those series is a guy goes for a walk and does a thing,
but they're really good.
But the walk was really fun. It was a fun.
We went on a really fun walk, and we had a good time. So you can have like a nothing burger plot, but also have enough happen in the nothing burger plot that it's not a nothing burger.
Because those books were really good. Whereas this one, they try to make it's like they make you feel like there's a lot of plot, but there's you can tell that they're trying to make you feel
35 chapters of what? Of a one sentence?
Yeah, they try to make you feel like it's meant to be a lot of subplots happening, but nothing's happening, and they fail at making you feel like it.
May I also go ahead and say, this series is supposed to be about Zoe Redbird. There are 1, 2, hold on, 1, 2, 3,
I don't know who's supposed
4,
to be
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters out of 35 where you are actually following Zoe.
Yeah, I feel like
there's
what they were trying to do
where you are as well.
Yeah, I feel like in this series that what they were trying to do, I'm not saying they succeeded, but I think what they were trying to do is like the first book is like Zoe passing the torch to Kevin as the protagonist, and then Kevin was supposed to be.
But that's fucking other Neferet.
But he's
also why?
Yeah, Neferet is the protagonist of the series, or the main character.
Other Neferet.
Other Kevin has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters is other Kevin.
And then he has like 1 or 2 half chapters, I think.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying they did it well. I'm saying I think that's what they was trying to do, and they.
So I don't know who the main character is, and here's the thing. Okay, I'm not knocking books that have that don't have a super clear main character. That would be dumb. We wrote Blackwoods.
Yeah, which we counted, but we have what, 15 main characters?
By the end, as we gradually keep introducing new people and the books get longer, there will be like 20
No,
main characters.
Yeah, we have 14 right now.
So
yeah,
so like you kind of
there's nothing wrong with
it.
But
yeah,
but also the books are set up to have that many main characters. This series started off with us being in first person in Zoe's perspective. Okay, that's what we signed up for. It would be like if the Mercy Thompson series suddenly started following Stefan and Dee and Adam and like everybody for no reason.
Actually, you're right. I think Zoe is supposed to still be the main character in this series because she's still the only one that's done in first person. They're still doing her in first person and everyone else in third person.
Well, you could have fooled me. You could have fucking fooled me.
If they I understand as well. Like I don't mind the switch between first and third because it differentiates the main character from the others. I get that. That's fine, but have them be your main character if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
You can't. Zoe should not have been first person in this series.
And like I said, I'm not knocking having a lot of main characters. It can be done well. If I was knocking it, that'd be stupid. Like I said, we wrote Blackwoods, but at the same time, we set Blackwoods up that way. It's third person.
We knew coming into it, we would have a lot of characters.
And it's third person, not it's third
limited.
Person it's third person unlimited,
omniscient,
basically. So it's third person, but also it's not like Harry Potter. Like in Harry Potter, you're always, unless it's one of those beginning or ending chapters, kind of where you're always tied to Harry. So sometimes in those beginning chapters, you'll be seeing something else, but then for the rest of the book, you are with Harry and you're only talking about Harry. Whereas when you're Ice of Firing, or it's like when you're Game of Thronesing it or Blackwoodsing it, you're
floating around.
You're floating. Okay. And so you can do that. That's fine. And different people do it different ways. Sometimes they will put names just to be like, you're following this person.
Yeah, that's what Game of Thrones does.
Or
but for us, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily do that. How we do it is by location.
By location, and then typically the first sentence, most first paragraph will tell you whose head we're in.
Yeah.
And then
make it very obvious.
Setting the scene.
And then we stick to that head for that entire chapter, or until we do like swigglies. Basically, it'll have like a piece of filigree, and then it'll switch scenes, and that's how we do it. So you have to plan a series around that.
So just throwing it in. What book did they start going into Stevie Ray's perspective? Because it started out with just Stevie Ray, and it made Stevie Ray seem like it was going to be a much bigger deal than it was now, where she and Rafam are just like fucking background characters.
Well, and that's
they did I think they did the right thing with this Shawnee as opposed to other Shawnee, because I think they were just like, I don't know what to do with her now, so let's just have her not be able to come back. And I think they did the right thing there.
Yeah, and Shaylin. Just be like, fuck it. Also,
Shaylin.
Also, you texted, I don't know if you texted both of us or just me when you were like, where the fuck is Cramisha?
Yeah, that was both of us.
Yeah, because I don't think we've talked about Cramisha.
She was not in this book. Her name was not in this book. Hang on, I will double check.
The other weird thing about Otherworld is that, it's like the nerd herd is back. I'm like, the nerd herd's not fucking back. It doesn't feel.
They were back kind of for they were physically all in the same location.
But we had
for a book.
disgraced Aaron. Okay.
Cramisha is not even mentioned in the book.
No, I'm saying in the first book of the series, of this series, they came back for Zoe's birthday, and I think that's the last time we saw them.
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like the nerd herd is back. That's not how it feels. Like Zoe.
Also, we're missing integral characters from it, like Shawnee.
Yeah.
From book 1 of the first series.
And I would probably be okay with the lack of I'm okay in the sense that I guess they just didn't know what to do with her character, so they didn't bring her back. But when they developed her from a background member of the Nerd Herd into a full-fledged character, what was the point?
Well, that's
to have her hook up with Eric. Was that the point? Because we started going into Shawnee's head in the last few books of the first series.
Well, yeah, that's like another really odd thing with this entire universe, I'll say. All right, bye.
Just throw us on the ground, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Is that there's no consistency with what characters you're supposed to care about other than Zoe and Stark.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, let's take Mercy, for example. You kind of have, like, a hierarchy of characters that you're supposed to care about. Like Mercy, Adam, and Jesse, those are important. But that all the background characters are basically equally as important. And by background, I mean secondary characters.
Yeah, and if they're in the book, they are. If they're not in the book, they're not.
Right, but like, you don't feel like if Stefan's not in the book that he doesn't matter.
No.
If that makes sense.
Well,
because
they also,
he gets enough characterization.
Yeah, and there's usually at least enough mentions of each of the missing main characters as well. Like the books that Warren's not in, he still gets a few mentions, and it's not in he can't make it back as a blur. It's like, well, no, life is currently happening, and Warren just isn't in this current life event.
Well, and the other thing too is that the way that they're presented is it's not like, well, Z is more important than Warren. It's like Z and Warren, you feel, are important to Mercy in different ways, but they're as important. So therefore, to you, they're just as important. Whereas in House of Night, to you, the reader, the characters that should be the most important are Shawnee, Aaron,
the
Damien,
Nerd Herd,
and Eric, the Nerd Herd. They don't do shit in this book.
Eric's not even mentioned, I don't think.
No, Eric's not even mentioned in this book.
He's mentioned in passing.
Oh, is he?
At one point. Hold on.
I forgot to actually put the book on my phone.
Yes, he is mentioned in passing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Eric played the consort role when they raised Kelowna.
That's right.
Yeah, like he's mentioned twice right there.
And she managed not to disparage him, which I was like, oh my God, gross.
Right, proud. Character development.
So I know, right? Slow clap. But those are the characters you feel like should be the most important because those are our Nerd Herd. Nobody else is, and Aphrodite. Because those are our important characters. Not that new people can't be as important, but they're never presented to you as important.
Like the thing that they created a precedent where any of them are disposable. Like Aaron dies and Shaylin automatically gets water.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh fuck, we don't want to keep bringing Shaylin and Shawnee back from San Francisco and New Orleans. So let's give this random person, let's give this random person who we've never met before, let's give her both affinities.
Fucking ice cream shoes.
But now
God,
they fucked her off. So they fucked her off.
Yeah, she's gone now.
Oh, because also, okay, I know we haven't actually really even started the plot yet, but I will say Grandma Redbird is a horrible person, right? Like, this whole book is supposed, like, they try and make out like they're so, like, respectful of other people's wants and wishes. This is the cast now. And Grandma Redbird is the person who's supposed to help keep all that consideration in check.
Mm-hmm.
She meets other Stark and she goes, let's not call you Blue Stark. I'm going to call you James and you get no say in the matter.
I know, right? I have that note.
And he's just like, but I don't want... And she's like, too bad, you're James now. And he's like, fuck.
Can you
also the fact that they just the entire time they're like, you're just like me a year ago. Or you're just me like 8 months ago. Because it actually hasn't really been that long. I'm like, shut the fuck up. He's better than you because he's not cucked by Zoe fucking Redbird. But then he is.
And then Zoe actually goes to the temple and she's like, dear Nyx, please make it so that other Stark is also just as cucked as the Stark.
And then he comes up to her and fucking makes out with her, and she's like, whoa, buddy, no, I'm Starks. Like, you don't understand. And he's like, yeah, but like I feel things for you because I feel like in our universe, like in my universe, we should have been together, but you fucking croaked.
Well, also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but they call what's her actual name? Casey.
Casey.
Yes.
Yeah, they call Casey ice cream shoes in front of Grandma Redbird, and she
fucking
says nothing.
Nyx calls her ice cream shoes.
They also call her ice cream shoes in third person narration. Okay, here's the thing. In first person narration, and in first person narration, if in your head use a nickname for someone, like, for example, if somebody goes by their middle name or whatever, like in my head, Bay is Bay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were writing a book about me for whatever the fuck reason, and you were writing from my perspective,
yes,
and you were talking about Bay, then you would write that down as Bay. But if you were doing it in third person, you would use Mara. Okay. But then if you were using dialogue, then you would say Bay because it's in third person. Okay. But you wouldn't do third person narration and be like, Bay said this. You don't get to call her that. You're the omniscient talking head.
Yeah.
you haven't earned the right. You're nobody's friend. You don't exist.
Yeah, the only time that doesn't, like, the only time where that wouldn't be a thing is if it's a name that everyone, like, that they introduce themselves as. So, just for example, if there's a guy named Timothy and he goes by Tim, third person wouldn't call him Timothy. They'd call him Tim.
Right. Because he's like, my name is Tim.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, yes, your name is Tim. Yes.
Yes. But when it's a one-on-one nickname or a group nickname, yes, you are correct. It's not. Also, though, could they not have, like, couldn't she have been wearing a pair of earmuffs and they just called it earmuffs or something? Like, ice cream shoes just sounds like a mouthful.
I'm going to read your text you sent to us last night as to why, why. When we discovered the reason why she was called ice cream shoes,
okay,
we forgot.
Let me just real quick, because we kind of didn't explain it. So there's a character in this book
named Casey.
His name is Casey, and the character's nicknamed her ice cream shoes. Everybody indiscriminately calls her ice cream shoes, which also in real life is not a thing that actually usually happens when you
Those are the ice cream shoes.
These are the ice cream shoes she was wearing.
Which I can't. But also, here's the thing. When someone has a nickname for you, oftentimes, if it's a nickname like that, it's not every single time someone says your name.
Also true.
No.
If it's a nickname like that.
Like, that's a handful. That's a mouthful.
If it's like a shortening of your name, or like Bay, almost every time I talk to you, it's Bay.
Like,
but that's watching, easy.
Yeah, and I'm currently like rewatching Bones at the moment, and Booth calls Brennan Bones because she worked with Bones. But guess what though? Bones is literally the short. Like, her surname's Brennan, her first name's Temperance, and her nickname to people from her first name is Tempe. Bones is the shortest of them, so it's easiest for him to just call her Bones.
Yeah.
And then when something important is happening, he'll call her Temperance.
Yeah, not ice cream shoes in the middle of fucking casting a circle.
But yeah, like, that is a nickname, and she didn't like the nickname at first, but now she likes it. But that's a nickname that also just makes sense. It flows off the tongue easily. You get it contextually, but like, if someone tried to call me ice cream shoes and then tried to make it stick that every time someone referred to me, they called me ice cream shoes, I would punch them.
Yeah.
And I would not apologize.
Yeah.
Same.
That is the most ridiculous. Like, it's not affectionate. It's not witty. It's like, ice cream shoes is a nickname you pull out when they're trying to be like, I think I don't like that dress. I think it's a bit too flamboyant. And like, they were wearing ice cream shoes last week, and you're like, sure thing, ice cream shoes. That's it. That's the only time that is allowed.
But so Casey, we didn't really talk about this last time because this was the scene that broke me as a person.
Yes.
That literally had me crying on my couch, and TJ was like, do I need to take you to a hospital? You're hyperventilating. And I was like, I'm fine. Because this bitch dies in a swim meet and then comes back a fully changed red vampire with the fucking affinity for water and fire. It doesn't matter. But they called her ice cream shoes because she was wearing those shoes to a fucking swim meet. Anyways. So we were trying to remember the reason why she was called ice cream shoes.
Yes.
Mara texted us last night saying because PC Cast wanted to buy them because she thought they'd make her look 50 years younger. And Kristen was like, Mom, no, you can't just buy ice cream shoes. And PC was like, but Kristen, crying emoji. And Kristen was like, what, Phyllis? If you trip, you'll break a hip. And PC was like, fine, but I'm putting them in the book. And Kristen was like, sure thing, ice cream shoes. And then the nickname stuck. So they decided to make it a nickname in the book too. And I agree.
That's how that happened.
I agree.
I agree too. I agree as well. And you know what makes me agree is before we start the book, do I have things to say? Because
there also is a Q&A at the end of this book like there was last book, which we will be reading live. I've only read a few questions and told them about it, but then
before we get to that,
we are reading this live.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just gonna actually go and put the book on my phone so I actually have it. So I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
So before we got to the book itself, to Kevin Cast, my little brother and the real Kevin, faithful Han fan, which I guess he has to be by default, but an excellent brother.
Whose brother? Yes. Is it PC's brother?
I don't know if it's Phyllis's or Kristen's. Yes, of course, that's a picture of you on the cover of Lost. Now, the way that it's read it's clearly sarcastic, but also that tells me that the picture on the cover of Lost was supposed to be other Kevin.
Yeah.
None of us caught that last time.
No.
We all thought it was Heath because we saw it and we were like, oh God, Heath is back.
Yeah.
It's other in the guy's blonde.
Fucking red.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah, Kevin would be dark haired. He's Native American.
Kevin's supposed to be Native American. Why is he pasty as fuck? Why does he look like Thor? Okay, like...
Also, Kevin is just a clone of Zoe. Kevin is literally just Zoe. Same personality. You're still muted.
Especially with his ability to just fall in love with someone else.
He spends the entire book pining over Aphrodite and then meets the other Shawnee and is like, I'm ready to put my dick in that. Let's go.
Can I just... am I going crazy? Were they weren't together?
I think they banged.
Oh, you mean Aphrodite and Kevin?
Yeah, they banged, and then the next day she died.
Yeah, they banged.
And then
but they were only together for like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm pretty sure she just went, I acknowledge that you have a boner. But also, Kevin's 16, right?
Yes, and Aphrodite's like 21, I think, in both universes.
Yeah, 21.
Okay, so Aphrodite...
So Lauren Blake's a predator, but Aphrodite's not?
Well, I think it's a bit different because Kevin's a fully changed vampire.
No, that doesn't make it different.
Oh wait, was he fully changed when?
I don't
think it doesn't matter.
When
still 16.
Or did he? I feel like he fully changed when she
I'll find my notes.
Did her sacrifice, or he changed in the first book. If he changed in the first book, I know, but in their world, as soon as you're a fully changed vampire, you're an adult.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
Know.
That's gross.
Well, he's hooking up with Shawnee now, and she's like 19, 20.
Yeah,
they weren't even together at the end, and Zoe was like, "I'm happier with Shawnee now," and he's like, "Yeah, thanks." I'm like, "Y'all have talked once."
You flirted for a minute. You flirted for a minute.
But
yes, okay.
Also,
he knew. Wait, did he know? Was that who we're talking about? Is you knew her for a fucking day? I'm assuming that means Kevin knew Aphrodite for a fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah, so they hooked up in the second book because then the last book she was already dead. And I'm pretty sure last book was only a few days worth of time.
So last book
and
was
this one
only
was
a
like
day or
2
two.
days.
This one was 3.
Oh, this one was 3.
But this one, okay, in this one they do the thing. I'm pretty sure where they flip flop on how much time it's been, because
she's like, it's been a year and a half since Kelowna like came back, and I was like, it's only been
a bit over a year.
It's not even New Year's yet, right?
Wait,
yeah.
It might no. The night when Aphrodite did it, that was New Year's.
Okay, then it's been barely over a year.
It's been a year. It hasn't even been a year and a week.
Yeah,
but also they flip flop on how many days it's been since the last book, because they say it's been a couple days, and then they also say it's been a week.
So at most, if we're taking the longest time frames, at most it's been like a week and a half since Aphrodite died. The love of his life that he slept with once. That he slept with once, that he knew for a couple days.
Yes, they did have sex. Hashtag confirmed. They had sex once. Yeah.
So the love of his life that he banged once. It's been a week and a half at most since she, and he's like, I'm ready to move on now.
Yep.
But
it's really only been like 4 days.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like they're like, everyone's saying to Kevin, like, you need to start moving on. I'm like, okay, I know that I've also been with 60 for over 8 years now, so it's a bit different. But like, just say he and I had been together 2 weeks and then he got hit by a car and died, right? If someone said to me before a funeral had even had a chance to occur, because normal people don't, especially if it's a bit gruesome, but funerals usually take 1 to 2 weeks to happen.
Yes.
That's the average-ish time frame. 1 to 2 weeks. If someone had said to me before he could have reasonably had a funeral, I think it's time for you to move on. Even if we'd only been together for 2 weeks, I would have been like, fuck you.
It's literally just Damien all over again. Because Jack died, and I think literally a week later he was already like fucking around with that reporter dude.
Yep. Well, you know what? Real life example, because you know about this, and this is different, but I was best friends with somebody who passed away, and I was friends with somebody who told me to move on about 4 months after it happened. And even if that happened now, where somebody was like, you shouldn't be sad anymore, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you were just like still 24/7 depressed over it,
that's an issue. But if like on his birthday, I'm like having a sad moment, and you're like, "Why are you sad?" Screw you. But like, 4 months after, he was like, "What?" He was like, "I can't believe you're still upset about it." Like, excuse you.
My best friend's dead. If that's okay with you.
Yeah. But also, it's been like, for Kevin, the love of his life is dead.
Literally in text referred to as the love of his life.
Yep. He's like, and I will never ever forgive the cast for that, because like Aphrodite and Darius are like literally the only couple
that works,
that are not problematic.
Well, also, like, they're the only couple that I look at and I'm like, yeah, 1, I buy that. 2, I don't hate it. And 3, it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially, like, if you think back to, like, when they were getting together and, like, she, like, cried because she's like, I'm in love with you and I don't like these feelings. And he's just like, I'm in love with you. You should like these feelings.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cute to, like, look back on their relationship. And then just Darius just being like, Kevin, will you swear to be her warrior?
But then, because this book, they fucking tainted it. That's the other thing that pisses me off. Yeah, they tainted it. Because this Aphrodite, like,
they also, like,
tells this Aphrodite who's 21, who my Aphrodite would never look at a 16-year-old and be like, I'm attracted to you. My Aphrodite would fucking never, okay? My Aphrodite would never. My Darius would never put a 16-year-old in charge of his Aphrodite. It would never fucking happen. Our Darius wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. You know what he would do? He would take a capable warrior. He would take a capable team of warriors and be like, you're in charge of Aphrodite. The 16-year-old can go shit in his pants like he's fucking supposed to because he's a child.
Yeah, you know what? You know what Darius would have done? He would have said, hey, James, I know that Stark is a really good shot, and you are too, yeah. Protect her with your life.
Yeah.
And James would have done it.
Yeah, James would have been like, yeah, fucking okay.
Like, what do you want? A freaking, like, child that has a boner for, like, your girlfriend / her dead doppelganger? Protecting
They
her?
also just nerfed her character in this book.
Yeah. I don't know what they did to Aphrodite in this book. And also,
they just nerfed
Aphrodite would also have never come up with the nickname Ice Cream Shoes.
No,
she's too witty for that.
Much worse than that.
Our Aphrodite would have, her lamest nickname as a result of the Ice Cream Shoes would have been to call her an infant. That's what she probably would have done. And
y'all,
it wouldn't have been like
every hour. Time. And we haven't even started on chapter 1.
We got to the dedication, okay? We've made progress.
I think Mar was the one that texted us overnight saying, like, yeah, this is going to be a couple hours. And that's just, like, a conservative estimate of, like,
look, I said
longer.
to you guys, I hope you all put aside an appropriate amount of time for this stream. Because we going to use it. And we going to need it.
Oh, God.
You can't rush these things, okay? You can't rush perfection.
Especially because this is the last House of Night we're going to have for a long time.
Fucking
it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the last one we had forever.
Cutting to
but
the
it's
end.
Not going to be.
You know how this book ends, you guys? The end for now. This was supposed to be the last House of Night book ever, and it ends on the end for now. I'm so angry.
You know what, though? As angry as it makes me, one, if they'd ended the end for real, I wouldn't have trusted it.
Yeah.
At least
they had the decency. They had the decency to put a question mark at the end of it, though. They did. There is a question mark.
Oh, good. Now?
Yeah.
Because the original House of Night series ends with the end for real epilogue.
Yeah. Yeah, that should have gone after the epilogue.
We never should have believed for real when they put the epilogue immediately after the end for real. So, because they lied to us right off the bat.
Since we're already jumping all over the place, let's get this fucking show on the road. All right.
Yes.
So
at least there's not a prologue. That's my first note.
My first note was, first of all, her voice. I forgot. It hurts.
Yeah, no, I went to text it and I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'll just complain on stream. Like, yeah, as soon as I heard Caitlin Davies' voice, I was just like, when my mom is chapterizing her audiobooks and I hear fucking Justine Eyre's voice, I'm just like, oh, you know. But I didn't realize, though, because we'd been listening to these books in such close succession, right? And then I hear Caitlin Davies' voice.
Caitlin Davies is also like,
and my mom, well, you know what? At least Justine Eyre is fun to mock. There's nothing fun like Caitlin Davies Caitlin Davies is just like it's time for House of Night, guys. That's what Caitlin Davies means to me. It's time for House of Night.
Let me just play.
Blackstone Publishing presents Found by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. This book is read by Caitlin Davies.
You can tell that she's just a stuck-up bitch.
To Kevin Cast, my little brother, and the real Kevin, faithful Han fan, and excellent
it's just,
brother.
I don't know.
She's such she has the most condescending fucking voice.
God, I don't know if, you know what, yeah, her voice is bad, but then also, because of the books, it's just like, PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is the longest break we've had between books.
Also, we counted It's actually not. It's not the longest break we've had between books, Bae. That's a lie.
Yeah, no, I know, but Caitlin Davies didn't narrate the first few books as well.
That's true. But like, it's just, oh God, it's bad. It's bad. So her voice is all right. And so.
Oh, this book is also 14 chapters longer than the last one.
Yeah, it was.
It's about 11 and a half hours long in audiobook time.
It was bad. So, and then also we start with, and the way that this one read it out, chapter 1, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a picture of you on the cover, and still.
Hold on.
One. Other Neferet.
For whatever reason, I didn't hear other Neferet. I only heard Nefret. So I was so confused for the first, I was like, are they trying to be clever? I was so confused. I figured it out. But yeah, so we start with other Nefret, and we stay with other Nefret and other Lynette for a long ass time.
Too long.
Too long.
Too fucking long. For stuff that doesn't even fucking matter.
No, we're starting strong.
None of this matters.
Also, we are immediately breaking the lore. It's great. So,
we break the lore about 40 times, especially at the end with how easily they travel to the other world at the end. I'm this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Anyways, so continue. I'm sorry.
We're with other Nefret in Scotland, and they just immediately go from the other world to Oklahoma from
Woodward Park.
To Woodward Park. And as it's established, you go and come out where you go.
They use a different method of traveling because we have.
Fuck off.
It gets easier every single time they fucking do it. It's so stupid.
Sorry, I didn't mean fuck off to you. I meant.
No, I know.
I know. Sorry.
I think
that was so aggressive.
I rewatched our last stream.
And
there were so many times, like our last House of Night stream back in November, I think it was.
Sorry.
And TJ, we had to apologize 50 times. You're like, I'm not mad at you guys. I love you, but fucking this book. We were all just screaming.
I feel like that's gonna happen so many times because I'm like, I'm not saying fuck off to you because I know you don't mean to argue with me. I know that you're just but I'm like
I'm just trying to point out what I think their reasoning is, babe. Why are you so mad at me?
I'm not. I've just been driven to insanity.
Love. Always love.
No, stop. The word love is said in this book 200 times.
So you
208 times.
Yeah. So you don't want to get those matching tattoos then, guys? Guys, to commemorate, guys.
If we get a $20,000 donation on this video via Streamlabs,
I would do it.
I'll do
that. I would do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, and that's why I said it. $20,000.
For $20,000, yeah. For $20,000, I'll do it.
For $20,000, we will get matching.
It's gonna have.
We will get matching. Yeah, we will get matching.
Always
love tattoos.
Yeah.
But okay, so last book, in previous books, it's been that if I go from this world to other world, sitting right here, I pop out in the other world, also right here.
Yeah.
But in this book, they start in Scotland.
Yep, because
come out in Oklahoma.
Because they keep bringing the Isle of Skye into this, and I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie, I am very displeased at that because I don't know if you've seen the Isle of Skye, but it's freaking pretty.
When they mentioned Culloden, I literally, y'all remember, I spammed with anger because
I also quit for 5 days.
Yeah, I really did.
That. Because nope, you were like, I'm putting this shit off. You know what happened too? Faye and I finished the book before Addie did.
She started reading it
which
5
never
days
happens.
ago.
Which never happens. She always finishes like 3 days before we do, and then we finish like 2 minutes before the stream starts.
Well, it was kind of. I finished like 4 hours ago. I think that's what I
finished last night.
Yeah, I finished last night too. Honestly, I was on the verge of a mental breakdown by the time I was done.
Well, also when I started this, I just because remember how I was reading book 2 of Outlander.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered I was doing that, so I finished it, and then soon after that is when I started like this book. And the end of book 2 is Culloden.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is too soon, man.
Well, and I can remember you said something like, it's like Outlander doesn't even exist, and then I saw on PC Cast following page, she follows Outlander. I'm like, it was intentional.
I'm surprised they didn't make any more direct, like,
you know what?
allusions to
This
it.
book was pretty low on the pop culture references.
Yeah. I think just the only one I remember is at the epilogue where my arch nemesis calls Zoe like Captain Marvel or something. Yeah.
Which again, the timeline, guys.
Glee is we're supposed to have cell flip phones.
Yeah, no,
We re-outline this. It starts in 2007, and we keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll be doing that.
Because fuck.
Or
if you guys don't know.
If we feel like it flows better, we can have it start at a different point in time. The start date can be flexible. But we're going to keep
since their timeline's flexible.
But, like, if you guys don't recall, at one point we were like, we're not going to write it, but we're going to re-outline House of Night to fix it within certain parameters. And that's going to be a completely separate stream because obviously we are on chapter 1. We're on the first sentence.
Yeah.
So, and it's 40 minutes in. So, obviously different stream, but we are going to do that. And yeah, that'll be a thing where we're within certain parameters, we attempt to fix the books. So anyway, right. And you know what? It was actually in this chapter. It was in chapter 1 where I was like, okay, I have to bring it up. Lynette and Nefret read as weird ass lesbians, which and I said, which could work if your gay representation was fine elsewhere, but it's not fine. And it feels like you have a psychotic bi woman and her lesbian pet running around Tulsa.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly
they have a weird sexual chemistry the entire book, and then every single and Nefret's like my sister, and I'm like
is that not like okay, yeah, like that is like literally one of the harshest friend zonings I've ever read. Like, 'cause spoiler alert. Oh, by the way, spoilers. This book only came out last week.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers
come out.
We've already spoiled.
Not even a week ago.
Spoilers ahead. This is book club with Bay, not spoiler-free book review with Bay. We're going to be spoiling this whole thing, tearing it to shreds. If you haven't gathered in the last 40 minutes, we don't like this series, and we are not shy about it.
And we're reading it so you don't have to.
And we are never kind to these books. So if you like you won't like us.
I'm gonna be kind to one thing, which you guys already know when we get there. I'm gonna be kind to one. They've done one thing right in 20 books. In 20
22.
books, they intentionally. Yeah, in 22 books, they did one thing
20
right.
books and 2 supplement materials.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing in that long intentionally, because I've done a few things right, but we're pretty sure they were all accidental.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure the weird chemistry between Nefret and Lynette is completely accidental.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, we'll get into. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil this. Other Nefret has a fucking weird redemption arc, and we're gonna get into why all of that's fucking problem because we don't address why it's problem.
Other than the fact it takes a chapter to do it.
But to just talk about the gay part of it, we've torn it to shreds from the very fucking beginning. The representation issues on all fronts, from the Native issues. I mean, we even talked about, like, apparently it's supposed to be Kevin on the cover of Lost. Let me just screen share real quick.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 16-year-old boy.
It's supposed to be one, a 16-year-old boy. Two, he's supposed to be Native American.
Well, Zoe's the only one that looks Native American in their family.
He's supposed to, when they describe him in this book, they describe him as dark. And they describe him as looking Native.
Oh, okay. That's weird then, because
so
what's the cast? But yeah, because the first book, that is not Native American brown.
That's like, it's summer.
That's American.
White.
Yeah. That's guy that grew up in California and surfs brown.
Yeah, and his hair color is very ambiguous.
Yeah, like. Because it's all in the undertones. That guy has pink undertones to his skin.
Yeah.
Native Americans don't. They do not have pink undertones to their skin. There's a reason why they used to be derogatorily referred to as redskins.
Yeah.
Because of their skin undertones.
Which, again, derogatory. But it's...
Yes.
But when it comes to being representative on a book cover, if that's who it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be obvious...
It ain't that hard to get a Native American guy to do this. Like, you can't see my arms, but I'm lifting them up.
So, but then also, I mean, if you listen to anybody critique popular media and talk about villains being coded as gay, it's something that is quite pervasive in media of like the past 50 years or so. And it's something that's obvious here, where the original Nefrit was coded as, or not coded, but very blatantly sexually promiscuous. First of all, both towards men and women. So bisexual, basically. But coded that way, but like weirdly coded that way. And now you just have like this weird pair of not lesbians, but coded as lesbians. And and it's a coding problem. It's very weird.
And all of the non-evil gay people in this series, I think this is how I phrased it, was they're so camp that they make a Barbie movie look like a dystopian wasteland.
Or they die
in the series. Yeah.
Or they die.
Or they die.
Because Jack, yes.
Yeah.
And we had another gay character die in this one.
Yeah, like we don't have just someone who is an everyday human being who happens to like the dick. we don't have that.
Well, and and here's the thing: you can have someone who reads a quote unquote stereotypically gay. That's not the issue. The issue is them being codified that way and them being not a complex character.
Yeah, it's that one trait that they have.
Yeah, I used to work with these two gay guys. One, you didn't know he was gay until he told you. The other one behaved much like Jack with less tears. However, he also had more to his life and personality than, hey, I'm gay. Whereas Jack is just, what's his personality? Gay. Done.
Baby monitors. Mara.
Sorry.
His affinity for baby monitors. Mara.
I forgot that he had an affinity for baby monitors and pressing play on a CD player.
The one thing that I think it's also important to keep in mind about like gay characters, because some people are like, oh, why do you have to throw it in your face? Like, the only thing I would say to that one criticism of inclusion of gay characters is that, like, in books you have to tell everybody, you actually have to say what people are, but even like in movies you also have to say that someone's gay, because like it's obvious when someone's like black. or when someone's Asian. But unless
it's not always obvious if they're gay.
Right. So you do have to say it. And that doesn't mean that somebody's trying to shove it down your throat. The existence of a gay person is not a gay agenda, okay?
Yeah, right.
That's not going to turn you gay unless it does, in which case that's a you thing. And, but yeah, like the issue with House of Night has just always been their horrific representation. And this is just an extension of that problem. And they do go into some interesting ways to try to correct their past sins. And that's really funny because honestly, they make it worse. And we'll get into that.
Yeah, and okay, if the characters also, like, for example, Jack, his personality was literally just, he was gay.
Yeah.
Who could press play on a CD player and set up a baby monitor. That was his personality.
And also he cries.
But let's just say
he had the emotional capacity of a toddler.
Yeah, let's just say that he
that doesn't change in his book.
Let's just say that he had character depth, though. Let's just pretend for a minute he did.
Okay.
There would still be an issue with how they told us him and Damien were gay. Because every single time they're gay, and then they went on to lecture us for about 10 minutes on how if we weren't okay with that, then there's something wrong with us and this and that. I'm just like, or you could just not presume that your reader hates gay people.
Yeah. And then also,
because if they did, they probably wouldn't be reading the book.
No.
And then also in the earlier books, Damien gaily walked towards and it's like, bitch.
Yeah, and we can cook. We're gay, and we know what to do because we're gay. And
they also decorated everything.
And I'm really good at decorating because I'm gay. That's what gay people do. We decorate.
And maybe they are into decorating, but you mean to tell me that none of the girls wanted to help?
But the reason that they gave for wanting to decorate was because they were gay.
Not because they liked to decorate.
Because they swung that way. They were like, oh, well, that means automatically that we have to do all the decorating. Because we're gay.
Because I don't know if you know this, but there are plenty of gay men who can't decorate for shit.
And plenty of gay men who can. And there's nothing wrong with either way. And there's nothing wrong with having a gay man in your book who likes to decorate. But make it because they like to decorate. And because they have a passion for decorating. Not because they have a passion for sucking dick. Those two things do not automatically correlate. Because if they did, then also every woman would like to decorate.
And yes, it is more common that women and gay men are good at decorating. Yes, it probably is more common.
But you should have seen me and Addie try to decorate for a birthday party that one time.
Oh my god, that was a struggle.
It was a shit show.
That was so bad, especially because the person we were doing it for, when she decorated my graduation party, and I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
No, so we were decorating a birthday party for our friend who, honestly, she should go into party planning because she's a freaking wizard. Right? She's a fucking wizard. I don't know how she does it. It's witchcraft. So we're going to decorate for her, and it was a bad idea because, honestly, everything that could go wrong went wrong, okay? And the other thing is, too, we have artistic talent, which made it worse because we were like, we're artists, we can decorate. We can't. Turns out we can't hang streamers. It was
just help that we're both short.
No, so we were standing in chairs in heels. It was
because we were already dressed because we had to leave in 10 minutes and no one else at the house would help. Oh man, I forgot about that. That was last year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was funny though.
Yeah, it was very fun. It ended up being a fun night, but
it was
the decorations were lacking.
They were. She thought they looked good, and we were like,
she did. She's also the person that she knows what she can do, but if you decorate a little bit for her, she's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
That's good.
Garbage fire.
We're like, this is a dumpster fire, but you're a saint. So
at least she's nice.
Yeah.
I think it was.
She appreciates the effort.
I think it was also she was already a little drunk, so I don't think she noticed.
That's right.
It worked. But it worked out, so it was fine. But
note to self: if you guys are ever decorating anything for me, if we're ever in the same place, get drunk before I see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the banner will be crooked.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen John Mulaney's sketch about the happy birthday banner, it's gonna look like that.
Okay.
Even though we know not to do that, it's gonna look like that. But yeah, so anyway, that's the issues with the undertone. It's there. So they hear. So they're in Woodward Park, and which is where Nefret is. Which is they're where Nefret is. They're where the original Nefret is buried, or not buried. She's trapped, whatever. Yeah. And so they hear warriors yeeting around, so they go listen, and they're like, "Oh, there's another Nefret." So they make it foggy, and
they're like, you know what'll be good? Setting up cameras, because that worked so well the last time we used cameras to try and watch something. So they set up cameras to guard Nefret's tomb because humans come and worship her.
And so, in order to be stealthy around the warriors, what Nefret does is in
the middle of winter,
in my head, she shouts, "Water, come to me, make this." Why do all these fucking in stealth mode people say things out loud?
But she covers the entire fucking city in fog.
Yeah, sudden not fog. Just like I mean, I thought we already established that. I know that Zoe can do it like super cool because she's got like all of the elements or whatever. I don't know.
Since when did Nefret have an affinity for the?
That's what I was just about to say.
She doesn't.
Is it because of the old magic? I guess because she was using old.
I think she's not doing it like that. But
no,
whatever.
She's not. I didn't even realize that. All right, well, there's lore break number 2.
She can heal and speak to cats. She can heal and speak to cats. That's what she can do.
And she can read minds.
Oh yeah, but also water come to me, make mist.
In the middle of desert winter.
But they eavesdrop, and Stark's there, and I got really excited before I remembered that he was cuckolded. So, like, my note is like, Stark, I'm sorry, I still love him. It's been long enough that I can love him again.
So,
and then I wait 10 minutes and I hate him again.
Yeah. So there are these girls at Nefret's tomb thingy, underground.
Yeah, the Nefret love cult.
The Nefret love cult, and there's 5 of them, and they're dressed in color coordinated robes. And so let me just get this out of the way. The way that they're originally described is like the age of fledglings, which led me to believe
16
that they were 16.
Same.
Apparently they're 21.
No, they're 25 or 24 because they're 7th year.
They said they were 21.
No, they've been in.
Then they said that they've been.
But they've been in. Yeah, they're on their 7th year of college, except for the 5th one. She's on her 5th year, so she's like 23. The others are like 25, 26.
Yeah, but they said that they were 21 explicitly.
Well, PC Cass cannot math, and Kristen cannot correct math.
I know. That's why I wrote that down, though. I wrote down that they are explicitly 21, and they've been in college for 7 years.
I don't know, guys.
None of us are wrong.
We're not wrong, but
they look 16. They are 21 and have been in college for 7 years. Is the information we are given in this book.
Except for one of them who is in her 5th year.
What the fuck? Okay. That, first of all.
But then we go into a deep recap of like what all the colors represent for the elements.
Yep, because each of them is wearing a different color of the element.
You don't know what all the colors represent.
And also, they're pretty much the colors that always represent everything. Like have like, I think everyone knows what colors represent the elements.
Yeah,
purple might be the one that you're shaky on, but honestly, like I said, I've read all 20 books.
Yeah, like, I don't know anyone that would go, what would be a great color to represent fire?
Pink.
or green.
Teal.
Brown.
Shit stain brown.
Like,
but
you go pick a color for fire. You go red.
You don't want to make way more sense though to have them like all in. I mean, how I would have done it is to have them all in black and just have them wearing like necklaces or something.
Not as obvious. Well, they're supposed to be stupid.
Yeah, it's just that like whatever. So they call themselves the dark. They call themselves
the dark
whatever.
Sister. And Nephra's like, but what, pray tell, is a dark sister? And like, she never even had the passing thought of, because every House of Night has the dark sisters.
The dark
even
daughter.
in the other one. Oh, dark daughters. Sorry, my bad. Never mind then.
But they still have them.
Yeah, like she never made any sort of correlation. Like that sounds a bit like then.
Yeah. Also, one of the girls, so Nefret draws them into her foggy little thing, so the cameras can't see or talk to them. But first, one of the girls just randomly says, "Racism is like over."
Oh my god! Okay.
Oh, that's right.
I have this. I have it bookmarked.
Is this one of the things you bookmarked?
No, I quoted it. Okay, this is in chapter 2 when we switched to other Lynette. Also, here's the thing. When we switch to other Lynette starts making fun of the girls. And this is before you go into before you go to their house and they really make them really fucking stupid and vapid. So you've just met them and what she's making fun of them for is not worshiping Nefret.
No.
What she's making fun of them for is liking the elements and stuff. And that's your fucking audience. Your audience is young women, teenage girls who like the cult.
They did this in the first book where their target audience were emo kids. That's your target audience with a freaking lore-filled vampire boarding school thing. That's your target audience. And they're like, oh god, could there be anything worse than being an emo? Oh wait, a goth.
Yeah.
At least emos bathe.
And now they're like, can you believe some dumb bitch would be like, ooh, I think I feel connected to the earth. OMG, I love fire. And it's like, oh yeah, your target audience, those dumb bitches.
Mm-hmm.
That's who, you dumb whore. So these girls are rich and terrible people, obviously.
They have a maid named Juanita.
And so one says, and I quote,
not stereotypical at all.
It's the 21st century. Stop whining about your issues. Racism is over. If you can't get a clue, go back to where you came from and get a friggin' life. Ha!
And these
that's exactly how people talk.
People
are great again,
Because that's how that is exactly how conservatives talk. PC cast. That's exactly how conservatives talk. I don't see what the problem is.
Also, since when, and this is also where, but when is Lynette her handmaid? Because that's new.
Yeah, that's a new title for her.
Yeah.
New title for her.
Well, also, sorry, go.
Because in this book, we're expected to know that Lynette has always been other Nefret's handmaid, but that was never fucking a thing. Whatever.
Yeah, she picked her up at an airport.
And she's like, this is my handmaid. And I'm like, you guys haven't fucking established for whatever. That would be if I just randomly kidnapped a person and I was like, you're my handmaid now. And she was like, okay, are we in a weird lesbian relationship? And I was like, no. But
you're
yes.
my sister.
But you're going to want to be. And also, these stupid girls are like, oh, well, we can just ask Zoe how they trapped her in here. She'll tell us.
Oh, yeah, wait,
and I'm like,
I
hope to God Zoe would not be that stupid.
Yeah, also, because they see Nefret and they're like, Nefret, is that you? And she's like, well, yes and no. I'm Nefret, but from a different world. And they're like, okay. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. How are we going to free our Nefret? And I'm just like,
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Also, there's not even a single, they just not a single question. They're just like, okay, that makes sense, and it's like, but that doesn't make sense. I would ask for a little bit more explanation, please.
This was another dumb comment that was made in Lynette's like head, I guess, is that they looked like overgrown cheerleaders, but the way that they're described to us in that moment is still that they're like the age of fledglings, so they're still being described as 16. Teenagers. So they're not overgrown cheerleaders.
Yeah, I don't know.
These are published. These people are millionaires. They're millionaires.
Yeah, because people get marked between 15 to 17.
Yeah.
So the oldest you would get a fledgling is about, and they generally change anywhere between 3rd and 4th year.
Yeah.
So the oldest you would get a fledgling would be 20, maybe 21 if they were late bloomers.
At like 5th and 6th former.
I think it is 5th and 6th.
Oh, that's
former.
what I mean. Sorry. I was saying like their 3rd or 4th years of being fledglings, because instead of being normal, right? Because that's how high school grades used to be done: 1st form, 2nd form, 3rd form, 4th form, 5th form, 6th form. Like I don't know about there, but like I know here that used to be the high school grades. Instead of year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, it was 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, and 2nd and 3rd, you know what I mean. But with that, they just go, your 1st year is 3rd form.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to be all fancy and private schooly. So they're just like, oh, you know what? You're about 9th grade, so let's just do 3rd form.
Yeah, but yet, like Eric was 19 when
he was a 5th former.
Yeah, and then Aphrodite was like 20.
Yeah, and she was a 6th former. So, like, the changing is not consistent, like the age that you change, and I'm fine with that because it's a
that's fine.
Process. But yeah, so the oldest you would get a fledgling would be 20, maybe 21 if they were really old. And these girls are all years older than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it still doesn't. They're mostly teenagers. Probably about 80 to 90% teenagers.
So anyway, after we speak to them, we go with them later, but
yeah, we follow them to their house and then we go to Other Stark.
Yeah, we just start following them and then we cut back to them later. So we go to Other Stark. They're at Sky again. So they're at Sky to find Nefret.
I forgot that Kevin was a red vampire.
Yeah, right.
And we
I was like, when the fuck did that happen? And then I was like, oh wait,
that was like the whole plot. We spent way too much time. Here's the thing: they're going to Sky to find out what happened to Nefret. You know who already knows what happened to Nefret? Fucking we do.
Yeah, and also, I swear they literally just changed some words around and used the exact same scene that they used the first time that Stark and Nat went to Sky. Some of the sentences were word for word the same.
Who went to Sky with Stark? I know it was Aphrodite, but didn't Stevie Ray go?
No, just Darius.
Okay.
Stevie Ray was back in Tulsa hooking up with Rafame.
I wasn't sure because I know later they're like, oh, you should just come vacation here. And I was like, I thought Stevie Ray went, but okay.
No,
I just want to make sure.
That was when her and Rafame, which was like, Earth, protect us, when they fell off the roof.
Yes. Okay.
And, yeah.
So another thing about having a bunch of characters, and I'll be quick about this, is that and we've said this before, but I'll say it again. The only reason to re-show a thing or to show the characters finding out something is if it's interesting to see their reaction. Like their reaction to not knowing where Nefret is like, who fucking cares? We've not known where Nefret is.
Everyone already knew Nefret was going to the other world. Other Stark and Other Kevin knew that she was going to Zoe's world.
The other thing is that we've all seen Sky before.
Yeah,
we don't
literally like. So, I don't have an issue with like, okay, so them being like, hey, I want to do a thing, and then, but like most of that could have been condensed in they filled them in on what was going on. Obviously not this phrasing, but that could have all just been like condensed into about 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, them getting to the end of the bridge takes most of this chapter, and then Saros is like, "What are yous doing here?" And I wrote down, "Yous, what is yous?" Diana Gabaldon would never.
Yeah,
because she writes in like dialect for her Scottish characters, and she does research. By the way,
is that when you're writing from all these different perspectives, what should be happening the majority, like I said, sometimes it makes sense to cut back and forth for case by case basis, but what should be happening is that 1, it should make sense to switch perspectives, and then 2, you should be advancing the plot.
Yep. You know what would have also worked as well if we didn't see Kevin and Stark get there, because also like bringing Aphrodite into it, that was just them like having a little lady boner, like that's all they were doing when they brought Aphrodite back, or other Aphrodite back for this scene. They should have just rocked up in Tulsa and they would have been like, guys, what are you doing here? And they could have been like, well, now the Neferet's coming in, so we went to Sky and got them to do a teleport.
Oh, but that would have taken
also the process of them getting there is something we've already seen because we all read Burned, sadly.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
We've literally read this exact thing happened to us start before.
Yeah,
we've all read it
again.
Right,
like good chunks of the scene were word for word the same as those scenes.
That was like, so here's what was different about this chapter from shit you've already read from reading the first series. Okay, let me think.
Kevin was there. Kevin's there, that's it.
Now, you know what? No, it's Zoe with a dick, so fucking nothing.
Also true. Also true.
The only difference was the motivations were different.
This is so frustrating. That was it. Here's the thing. If this was marketed as a twist on the original House of Night series, then you know
we
wouldn't
be as angry.
I could have accepted that, but
yeah, because
it's marketed as like a continuation of it, and that's what makes me so fucking angry.
Yeah, because like Twilight, Life and Death, that's marketed as a gender-bending Twilight. Midnight Sun, which will be out in a few weeks, that is literally Twilight from Edward's perspective. And we know that. You know that going into it. You know you're going to be seeing
the exact same things.
The same shit. 80% of it is going to be the exact same stuff, just from someone else's point of view. And which that's fine, because we're going into it knowing it. And also, I'm actually really excited about that, because I read the first 12 or 13 chapters because they got leaked years ago. They might be different now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff, it actually makes a lot of sense, because like it doesn't ever get explained in the books. And Bella's like, why is Edward just sitting there looking weird? And we know why he's sitting there looking weird, because we're in his head.
But
I just rewatched all those movies. It was very fun.
But can you fucking imagine if, say, like 5 years from now, I was like, I'm going to continue the Rosie series, and instead of continuing it in a way that made sense, I'm not going to, by the way, but instead of like adding a new trilogy that made sense, I literally rewrote the first trilogy and acted like I fucking didn't. Like, fuck you. Like, honestly, fucking on. Also, you brought Dean Koontz into this. Fuck you. Like,
yeah.
And then
Dean
also
Koontz
in the same paragraph, you brought Inverness and Dean Koontz into this.
They also, their limo driver was like, I'll just be chilling in Inverness when you need me. And Inverness is 2 hours away from Skye. Whatever.
I'm gonna open
whatever.
This now.
Oh, hey!
I think I need a drink.
Hashtag not sponsored. No. But we wish.
Yeah, no, where he should have been waiting is... He should have been chilling out in Kyle of Lochalsh. I don't know how to say it. But that's where he should have been chilling. Do you want to know why? Okay.
No.
Here is the Isle of Skye. It's a pretty big fucking island, right?
Yes, it's huge.
That is That is Sky.
We can't. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Yeah, that is Sky. Now. Here is the bridge to Sky. So where he should have been chilling out is right here.
Not in fucking Inverness.
Inverness is where the fuck is Inverness?
It's on the right side of Scotland.
Okay. I lost my map.
If you can hear kitty
Inverness.
purrs, you should be grateful.
Okay. Yeah, so Isle of Skye is here, right?
Yeah, Inverness is on the other fucking side of the country. It is literally, I Google mapped it. It is, I think, an hour and 45 minutes away.
Yeah, he could have been chilling out in Kyle, Plockton, Dorney, Adderdale.
Anywhere.
Anywhere in between the two.
They probably just name dropped it because of Outlander, because now that I know that they like Outlander, they probably just did it because of Outlander.
Okay, so yeah, Isle of Skye is there.
Inverness
is where...
It's so stupid.
That would be like if you drove her home and then said, I'm going to be chilling out in Kentucky.
It literally would be like you were driving me home and you said you were going to, like, literally not even chill out in Augusta, past Augusta.
Yeah, like, I'll just be waiting for you in Augusta, and you're like, that's not fucking convenient.
I'm like, that's an hour away. What are you talking about?
Call a fucking Uber, you dumb whore. Like, what? And also, we get there, we get to see all this stuff, but we're not amazed because we've seen it before. We get to see Ski-Off, and we're not amazed because we've seen her before. And you know what?
Also, you know what though? You know what freaking pissed me off though? With Ski-Off, when Ski-Off is like, Kevin, Stark, you shall not use the old magic because it's bad for you and people go insane. And I'm like, our Ski-Off gave Zoe tools to work old magic and taught her how to use them. And said, go forth and bring old magic back.
And yeah, no, we forgot about that by the end of the book. Don't worry. We'll forgot about that already by now.
We forgot that it makes people go insane. We forget all the, you know what? Don't bother fucking keeping up with the lore because it doesn't matter. Because now Nefrin has
rewritten every book
for literally everything. And you know what? Her original affinities, they don't fucking matter. You know what? It doesn't fucking, none of them matters. And I'm losing my mind. So, all right. So here's the thing. You know, I want to also Ski-Off gives them like a fucking Pocahontas speech. Like, you can paint with all the colors of the wind. You think you own whatever land you land on. I swear to God, they quoted the fucking song. Okay. I swear to God, it's like, or you think like the earth is a dead thing you can claim. And like, I swear to God, that's in the book. Like, they reworded the song.
Very quick side note. My boyfriend's sister just sent me a picture of their cat.
Aw.
And the caption was, such an elegant bather.
It's weird for such pretty things they can sit quite unladylikely.
But am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Good. Because that's what happened.
Not wrong.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what would be fine is if that was the character's like, if that was like her thing. But you know what? I don't feel like it is because they're so preachy about shit. And like everything they think just yeets through into stuff.
When Stevie Ray for the first 3-4 books regularly uses the word retard, and then 3 books later, aka a week later, she starts having to go at Aphrodite for using the word.
Yeah, and
it's the same character.
They have no ability to separate their self-inserted messages.
Well, no, because it's their duty to. It's their duty to remember. You've seen the interviews. It's their job to make sure that their readers think correctly.
Fuck off. Like, you know what? Because even like self-inserting can sometimes work. But fuck off. Just fuck off.
Also, we get some lovely arguments here about people not knowing what the word nappies means. or Waynes. I think most people know that Waynes or Weens. It's Weens. Weens. You know,
you wean a child off the breast.
Yeah, and then nappy.
I mean, like
everyone fucking knows what a nappy is. I don't care how American.
No, you know what? He doesn't give a shit. Noah didn't know what that word meant.
Nappies?
Yeah.
If he heard it in context, I'm pretty sure he would have picked it up, though.
Well, because we were talking about like American versus whatever, something.
Not American English.
Yeah, and because I was saying that because of you, all of my baby terms
are
Australian.
Yeah.
Because I don't talk to Americans about babies. I talk to you about babies.
So and we use nappy, not diaper. We have a cot, not a crib.
Yeah.
A pram, not a stroller.
Right. And
no, ma'am.
And so all of those words are in my vocabulary. And like, I even one day figured out what a crib was, and I just didn't have the word for it. And so anyway, so yeah.
But
like,
also,
that was
most people know what that fucking word means.
But also, wean is an American word.
Yeah, weaning.
Like, I can forgive.
Yeah,
I can forgive like a 16 to 20 something year old guy who doesn't have kids for not knowing what.
But that's not the target audience.
No, but that's not the target audience.
You know, but like, fuck off. Like, and also then they pledge themselves to ski off, and they're like, "You're gonna train us to be warriors and on how to fight. You're on an urgent mission."
Yep.
Fucking when is that going to happen?
And we also get like, go finish your point.
Sorry. And also, Stark is already supposed to be a general.
He's a general.
Yeah.
And Kevin was a warrior thing. He doesn't need training.
He was in the military.
Like, they don't need training, but they have to. And now they're pledged to ski off, but we don't ever acknowledge that they're pledged to her. That's not of any importance at the end of the book. Are we not going to address that they have literally pledged themselves to the...
No.
Right. Well, you're also forgetting as well that, like, in the original series, from after Skeoth has met Zoe for all of 5 minutes, she starts going on, I'm going to start taking warriors back in. I'm going to start taking warriors back in. And then when we see our Skeoth in this book, she's like, I think I might consider taking some warriors back in. I'm like, you were supposed to do that a year ago. Just so you know.
We also get some lovely recaps on the past book.
I'm going to have a fucking conniption fit.
And
chapter 4, we switched to other Kevin, by the way.
Oh, there's one more thing that made me mad at the end of chapter 3. Stark was like, oh, well, we're in the same clan, like, was he talking to Saros?
He was talking to both of them, because he assumed that Saros and Skeoth were from the same clan.
Just because they have the same fucking last name doesn't mean they're in the same clan. They've seen Outlander, apparently. They know what that means. The Frasers of Love are not the same as the Frasers of Lallybroch. End rant. Continue. Dude, I'm passionate.
I know you're passionate.
Like, I mean, because, like, my history, like, my ancestry is Scottish. I know what my clan is.
That's
all that. But guess what, though? Not everyone in the same clan is, like, related.
Also true.
Like, I wouldn't go up.
That would have presented some fucking problems.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up to someone with the same surname as me and go, "Hey, cousin," because they'd be like, "I don't know you."
Well, also
like,
at this point,
I don't know you. Also, different last name. Sorry. Go. I was just going to say that it branches out.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
that was really fun to watch.
The delay of things. I think we're going to say the same things, though. I think because of I think what we're going to say is, like, because of the nature of surnames, and also because of how they're passed down, someone even having the same surname as you, it doesn't even mean anything, because somebody with the same surname as you, their Scottish heritage could be so diluted that it's negligible, whereas yours could be pure is the politically incorrect word, but more direct. I'll say that because I don't want to say pure. That makes it sound like I have an opinion on that. That's not what I mean. I don't mean it as in like
a closer relation, a closer direct relation,
more direct.
Yeah, and
whereas
my surname as well. There is a British version of my surname where like probably like a millennia ago or something, they migrated out of Scotland into England and changed and anglicized the last name or something.
Yeah.
And there are about, at last count, between all the different versions of my last name, including the English ones and everything, there's about probably at least 12 or 15 different versions of my last name. And and that just shows just how diluted everything becomes when you so you might have one common ancestor, God knows how long back, but you aren't of the same people.
No.
Well, and Addie knows what my boyfriend's last name is. I don't know if Faye does. I'll put it in the side chat. But if he acted like everybody with that last name was related to him, it would be redonkulous.
Oh God, because also a lot of last names as well. Also, they literally just come from what your father's name was, what your father's occupation was, what your occupation was, etc.
Yeah,
that's how last names became a thing.
Like Johnson, son of John.
Yeah, it's like son of John. Peterson. If your last name is Peterson, John, whatever. If your last name has son on the end, what that means is that one of your ancestors was named Peter or some kind of ancient form of Peter. That's what that means.
Yeah,
that's all that means.
Anyways, chapter 4, guys. We can. Also, oh my God.
Another thing about following a bunch of different perspectives. You're in the same. If you're in the same like place, there's not really a need to switch perspectives.
Yeah.
Unless
someone knows something the other one doesn't know. Sorry.
But like. And also, like, you really need, like, in Blackwood, something that we have made a list of, and this is kind of a writing advice thing. We've made a list of, like, our primary main characters and then our secondary main characters. The main characters that we...
I just texted you what my last name means.
So we've made a list of the main characters that we will actually directly follow. And then the main characters that are, of course, important, but that don't warrant.
But we aren't going to be following them
because it gets to be too much. So, like the casts, for example, if you're going to be following Nefrit, you don't follow Lynette because Lynette is next to Nefrit all the time. We don't need her.
Yeah.
You follow other Kevin, but you don't need to follow other Stark because we're always
if they're in the same fucking room.
And you need to fucking focus, bitch. Focus. Like,
unless like other Stark leaves the room and we need to talk to Kevin for a little bit longer, then you could switch from other Kevin or other Stark to other Kevin.
But that's because Stark fucked off.
Stark fucked off and got a life, I guess, and fucked ice cream shoes apparently, but he didn't. He talked to her twice.
You know, if you were also in third person, it doesn't matter. Like these books are so broken, you couldn't fix them. Like
we've already decided we're not fixing Otherworld. You can't.
The original series is kind of fixable. These books are so broken. So anyway, so chapter 4. So the big problem is like
they still haven't.
Sorry.
They still haven't. We followed him making it back to the castle. I'm already angry again because I read this 5 days ago and I forgot that we get there and then we follow Kevin's perspective getting there.
Yes.
And then we talk to Oak. Okay.
So the big problem with this portion of us walking there is that this part of the book, this passage, I guess, is well written. Good job, editor, as I said.
Yeah, no. I was like, I don't think they wrote parts of this book. I don't think that they did.
there are parts of this book that are well written. The big problem is it's not fucking interesting because we've seen it, and then also shut up, Kevin. You don't even know Aphrodite,
Exactly.
and I don't care. I don't give a fuck about your sadness because the timeline of these books is so fucked. Also, I know how old Aphrodite is. We're constantly reminded that she had a Xanny and champagne problem, which champagne is the worst alcohol to be alcoholic-y to. Like,
also, Aphrodite isn't binge drinking champagne. Want to know why? Because it makes you bloated. The last thing Aphrodite wants is to be bloated. Like, champagne is a 1 glass drink.
Yeah.
It's a 1 glass drink.
You don't get wasty face on champagne. Come on.
Unless the only time you get wasty face on champagne is if you have a very low tolerance to alcohol.
And so then we
get drunk off of 1 glass.
I've done it before. It is the worst.
Yeah, and also,
fun. It's not
being
fun.
drunk on champagne is not fun. And then also we find out from Oak that Nefret opened the door. Thanks, we fucking know. Oh my god. And then so Ski
also Oak's a cunt. That's it.
Yeah, Oak's a cunt. We find out that Oak's being a cunt. And then Ski-Up is like, you can't use old magic to go between worlds. And then she's like, but you know how strong she's like, how strong is your boner? How strong is
your boner for Aphrodite?
And then he's like, it is.
She is the boner of my life.
Yes, he's like, it's so strong. Like, it's so strong. And she's like, cool, we'll use that.
Yeah, so they're going to use Aphrodite. They're going to, as in Burn, they're going to slice up little Starky Poo so they can go to the other world. And then Aphrodite is going to be the bridge, which they don't even really need Aphrodite to be the bridge.
But we don't learn any of this yet, though. It's just like, we're going to use your love, but there's a price to pay, and you might not like it. And Kevin's like, I will pay any price to do it. And they're like, excellent, end chapter. So literally 2 chapters of they get to Sky and get permission to do a travel.
And I will
That's
also
2 chapters
about repeating storylines and stuff like that. When people say that everything's been done before, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. What I think is true is that the basic bare bones of storylines, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What you do with the characters and everything else around the bare bones of whatever fucking storyline there is up to you.
Yeah.
They could have, like, just fucking anything else.
Thank you.
But the big issue is that it's the same thing. Like, we're literally slicing up the exact same character.
In the exact same way.
And you know what? He doesn't
By the exact same person.
And he doesn't even have, like, the motivation to do it this time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, this Stark's motivation is, I want to see if I get another boner if I see Zoe again. That's his motivation.
And you know what? Even if we had been slicing, okay, imagine that we were reading a good book. If we had been in the
You brought that out last time too.
If we had been slicing
it's appropriate.
If it had been the same situation, but you'd swapped out the characters and you'd had a good motivation for the character and it had actually been like an interesting motivation, but it was the same situation, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have been like, oh, that's interesting because it's the characters that make a story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what would have mattered. We would have honestly fucking ignored it. Mm-hmm. Because at the core of a story is its fucking characters, and these characters suck. So we're just sitting here like, I want to fucking kill myself. And fuck my life, dude. This is shitty. So finally it's chapter 5 and we're at Zoe.
Finally! Oh my god, I was so happy.
I was, and then you know what?
It was really so quick.
I know, because I was like, oh, fucking finally, the book can
took
start.
like a paragraph.
Right? I was so relieved. I know.
And we live in a world right now where we missed Zoe Redbird.
And then
for a whole 2 minutes, but we did. We missed her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the world we live in now. We don't by the end of the book. I re-hate her by the end of the book because of what she does.
Well. But I was like, Zoe! And then I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I wrote down thank God in my notes. Never thought I'd say that, but thank God.
Okay, this is a chapter. Holy fucking fuck, this is a chapter. So fucking they're looking at footage of the park and they're like, "Oh, it's foggy." But also we can finally talk about this. Shaylene's in San Francisco. You know why she can't come to the rescue? Because incels are causing a ruckus in San Francisco and she can't.
Because incels hate women.
Because incels hate vampires in particular because they're prettier and stronger than normal women.
Yep, like direct quote. Because Zoe's trying to work out where the fog's coming from. She's like, Damien, can Air tell you what's up? He's like, nope. Can you ask Shailene? And she's like, I'm not sure. There's tension between humans and vamps in San Francisco right now. And I agree she needs to stay at her house of night till all that's handled. And Aphrodite's like, wait, what? I thought the humans in San Fran were cool. For the most part, they are. The problem is coming from a group of incels. They hate all vampires, and we get no other information.
They also hate women.
The incels are causing a ruckus in San Francisco. They're having a tantrum. They're being a little bit cray-cray. And
honestly, that might have been more interesting.
Can we please go see the fight with the incels? Like, I want to be.
I don't like Shaylin, but like, let's go.
Like, dead set though. Like, I said this to you guys. Is that not the best worst because it's awful but it's hilarious? Is that not the best / worst? I don't feel like coming to dinner tonight excuse you've ever heard.
Yeah, I can't come to the phone right now. The incels are causing a ruckus. I'm detained.
I also hate Stevie Ray because she was the one who said that incels hate women. So of course they hate strong matriarchies, I think is whatever. And eventually
they do, but also shut up. Because here's the thing. How do you strawman incels? How did you do that?
I don't know, but okay, because they say for a sentence about how they hate women and they hate all women, especially vampires, because they're attractive. And then we get incels. Ew, now I get it. You're right. Shaylin needs to stay and handle that crap. And I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what are they actually doing? Are they bombing? Are they trying to bomb the House of Night? Because I get that.
I want to know what's happening over there.
I do too. Like, I want to know what's going on.
Should we tweet them? See if they'll actually tweet us back? Didn't? Okay.
PC's has gone private.
Oh, she's private. That's
Facebook. Right. She accepted my follow though, so I could tweet her and be like, "What kind of ruckus were the incels causing in San Fran, please?"
Oh, wait, no, that's right. I tweeted her and she tweeted me back. Well, TJ, you tried to tweet her asking if it was cheating if you fucked the other, and she never. Oh, she said no. That's right. She did tweet you back.
Should I tweet her and say, what kind of ruckus were the incels causing in San Fran?
Yes.
What if she blocks me? Then we can't see what she tweets anymore.
I'll follow her. I'll follow her right now.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm already following her.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Wait, it might be best if you ask, because if she goes through my Twitter feed, she might just block me out of. Because she probably wouldn't like my Twitter feed.
Okay, so how should I
imagine yours is tamer.
Just ask what kind of ruckus the incels were causing in San Francisco.
Oh, just like regarding found, like actually, like
because that's not hella sassy. That could be.
Because I mean, like, what were they doing? Because all we get is, there's some tension between the vampires and the incels, and I'm like, so what? Like, are they just saying we don't like vamps? Are they picketing, or are they bombing, or like what is happening?
Okay, so I made it sound like I'm genuinely interested because I am, but like also because So I said, in found, what kind of ruckus were the incels causing in SF? I gotta know. Tweet. My tweet was sent. There we
They're
go.
like those pesky incels and their ruckus causing.
We'll see if she tweets me back by the end of the stream.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
If not, we'll update next stream.
Yes, we will.
So then what we do is we look at like the video feed and we literally rewatch like word for word Nefrit do her thing. It's fucking boring. And
also, but Stark and his 2 brain cells remind Zoe that she has a water affinity and she can just ask water what's wrong.
But
and Zoe's like, oh yeah.
And then also apparently
in the scene that Stark is us.
Yeah, in the scene Stark is us.
Yes. And then also apparently though Zoe's affinity is weak as shit. Suddenly.
Like, we knew that she was like strongest, like most strongly connected with spirit, and I feel like that was just a natural byproduct of her using spirit more often than the rest of the elements. That's what I always felt, because she had the rest of the elements in a circle.
But she never fucking touched them.
Like in the first few books she did.
Yeah, and then after that, once her circle got really solidified, she was just like, eh.
Yeah, like, I mean, her fire affinity was strong enough that when when they were escaping House of Night on horseback, her and Shawnee were able to heat the horse's hooves. Like, that's pretty precision shit. The horseshoes, not the hooves. The shoes. My bad. And she's never had a hard time using any of the other elements before. It just always seemed that she felt closest to spirit because that's the one that she called upon the most.
Yeah, but now like her thing with water. Now water just like doesn't like her, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, you know what though? I wouldn't like her either if she just like literally forgot that she had me.
We also get a nice little recap.
You neglected me for a year.
Right. We get a nice little recap of just everyone, just our entire circle and everything. And in Zoe's internal dialogue, she's like, technically I was too young to be a high priestess and head of the North American Council. And I wrote down, we all know it. Bitch, you're too young to even drink. You should go fucking eat a dick.
You could only legally vote like a week ago.
And then
being able to vote for a week.
Nothing comes of this. But Zoe looks at Damien and she's like, hey, can you have Jack magnify the picture of this so that we can see who this is?
They fucking print out a screenshot for someone to zoom into.
Here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing. I know that they do it in like CSI or whatever, but you know that doesn't work, right? You only have however many pixels you have. And if
we've already been informed that these are low quality cameras.
And so if you can't see shit, it's just gonna get more pixelated. You just gonna see more squares, okay? Zooming in ain't gonna work. Zooming in.
Why do we have to print something to zoom into it?
That's honestly, that's just gonna make the quality worse.
Look,
a pinch.
You know how you zoom into something printed? You pick up a magnifying glass and hold it over the image. That's how you zoom into something that's
Why do we need Techie Boy to do that? The other fucking thing is that the genius that is Damien is like the smartest boy in the world decides that like humans don't matter.
You're fine.
You know what? What'd you say? What'd you say?
She said, you know, the usual targeting the San Francisco House of Night because it's matriarchal, but their protest was important as they are. Hang on, I'm just going to show it because it's going to be easier.
Wait. Can one of you, Bay, are you on a computer? No, actually.
I can pull it up on my screen.
Yeah.
She followed me. Y'all. Y'all, I'm not fucking kidding me. I am not fucking kidding me. Have we ever tweeted about House of Night? She's gonna read my page and see. Okay, anyways. Okay. Again, here we go.
Screenshot your phone in case she like finds like one of our streams on your feed and clicks on it.
Screenshotted. PCcast follows me on Twitter.
For now. ...
For now, yeah.
Holy fuck, guys.
Okay, so yeah, the usual was they were causing a ruckus.
I guess I'll like her
like
tweet.
They weren't doing anything bad. They were just causing a ruckus apparently then.
Their protest was as impotent as they are. So they were just protesting. I'm going to tweet her saying thank you.
That's fucking funny.
I fucking can't believe that. I saw the little notification come up at the bottom and I was like, no fucking way. PC Cast, I am shredding your book up. Yeah, I turned one of your books into a visual journal because I want to desecrate it because it was so bad. I turned Burned into a visual novel.
I did the same thing.
She thinks you're friends.
What if she actually kickstarted our career? That would be so awful. We're assholes.
We're not wrong.
Please excuse this brief intermission while we all freak the fuck out that PZ Cast is following me on Twitter.
That poor clueless middle-aged woman.
What if she picks up Blackwoods?
What if she like checks out my profile and she's like, "Oh, author of Blackwood? What's that?"
What if she checks out?
I have the link to buy BTBR in my.
How recently have you tweeted about a stream that we're doing? What's your ad?
Oh no!
Delete that.
Delete tweet.
What was the tweet?
Okay, done. It was
about
us tweeting about Dizisters. Okay, it's deleted. I'm going down, making sure there's nothing else. She might have already said. Okay, there is nothing else. Because we did. Okay, we tweeted about the Cruel Prince. That's fine. we tweeted about Jenny, our Armand Trout. That's fine. We tweeted about Blood Air. That's fine.
What if she goes, "Oh, they do book club. I wonder," and clicks on the link, and then goes to the thing, and then finds
and sees us right now? PC Cast.
Hi, PC.
Fuck my life.
I'm really sorry if this hurts your feelings, but it needs to be said. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh no.
Wait. Just in case she is watching. Addie, would you like to show her your Kelowna dance?
So this is what I do whenever Kelowna is like doing a thing. Because of what book was it? Was it Redeemed? When he just shoots out and he just...
I think it was... I think it was the book where he rocks up.
Yeah, it was... Because Redeemed is the last book.
No, it was the first time he showed up.
PC Cast, I'll accept my Oscar now.
That has to be in the show.
Please buy Blackwood. Don't hate us. Or hate us, I guess.
I let's be honest, I don't give a crap what she thinks of her.
She'll just unfollow me. She'll just block me and unfollow me.
And you know what? And then, actually, I can't say this out loud just in case she is watching. I don't want to give her any... I don't want to undo any ideas that could help benefit you. So, never mind.
I'll check tomorrow and see if she still follows me.
We'll see.
I did delete the Dizisters tweet, though, so,
Fucking lol.
I have to talk to my boyfriend about this. Hang on. I have to
Hold on.
This has been an amusing twist of events.
It has absolutely been an amusing twist of events. Wait, where is that? Why can't I find that tweet that you just...
Want me to send it to you?
Yes,
so you can view
please.
it? Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. I sent it to you via DM. Oh, you liked it. Thanks for liking my tweet.
I followed
Sorry about this
her.
very brief intermission, guys.
I followed her.
Go
I'll see if
delete
she-
your Dizesters tweet.
Oh,
Can you send
I'm
the
sorry,
tweets?
Addie.
I
I'm
don't-
not following you on Twitter, so I'm gonna do that now. It's probably because I
thanks.
almost never go on Twitter.
That's okay. Thanks for following me. Do I follow you? I do.
I'm
follow
sorry.
you.
Yes, you do. That makes me feel even worse.
I'm so shook right now. Does she have a Game of Thrones filter on as her like profile picture? Holy fucking
I
shit.
don't know what she has, but she's got a freaking thing
Yeah.
on her head.
Yeah, she has the yeah.
Yeah, this is PC's profile pic, guys. Because she's badass, apparently.
I'm gonna take this brief intermission to go to the bathroom. I will be
Have
right
fun.
Okay.
Have fun.
So
Well,
oh, PC. You poor unfortunate soul.
she still follows me. So I guess
She thinks you're friends.
she thinks that I like them. I stand Stark. How about that? There you go. That's what I can say.
No, you stand OG Stark.
I do. But even like other Stark, when they're like, "Oh, you're just the old Stark," I'm like, "He's not really though. He's still kind of a
You know,
cucked Stark."
Stark is best before he dies.
Oh yeah, that's when I fell in love with him. Are you kidding me?
And even when he's rapey, I like him more. Because, you know, he actually has a personality still. Because it's immediately after he gets unrapey that him and Heath have that conversation of, hey, Eric's a dick, but I like you. I don't like that you're banging Zoe, but I still like you. Oh, I
Even
don't
though he
like that
never
you're
fucking
banging
banged Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah, the two of them, that is still the weird. You know what? That has actually been overtaken as the weirdest interaction in this book. We're not going to talk about that conversation yet because I want to wait till we get there.
Is it the epilogue?
All right, where do we go
No,
from
it's
here?
not the epilogue. It's
Oh,
when the two Starks meet. That conversation is worse than, hey,
I have it bookmarked.
Yeah, we're waiting till we
yeah,
get
we haven't
there.
got.
We're not
Okay.
We
discussing
didn't
Real
that.
progress
quick,
it.
though.
We didn't progress at all.
Real quick though, one thing I have written down for this part is that the brain trust that is Damien is like the smartest boy. What I have is the humans aren't important. The smartest boy in the world decides. Even though we already know that if you find those humans, you literally find Nefrit. So if you ID'd them, the book is over. But Genius over here is like, oh, the people yeeting into the fog, like don't like fuck them, They don't matter. And the thing is, Zoe is like, oh my god, you're so smart. And I think we're supposed to be like, yeah, that's smart. But we know that that's not smart. And so Damien's supposed to be smart. We're supposed to think he's smart. But we know he's not being smart.
Yeah.
Which makes him look silly.
Okay. So we decide to go and get a Casey.
Yeah.
Yes, because we need somebody to talk to Water.
Yeah, because Shaylin can't because she's stuck dealing with the ruckusing incels. So,
I'm sorry, but that wasn't even an answer to my question.
Well, they were protesting.
Yeah, they were protesting. How apt. Anyways.
I mean, never mind. I was about to say something awful, but never mind. So then we also get the fact that Shawnee's not coming back because it's also like,
yes.
Speaking of fire, isn't Shawnee on her way here? She will be soon. She would have been here today, but she told me one of her fledglings just rejected the change, and she needed to be there for the rest of the students. She should get here tomorrow, I think. But tomorrow comes
and then she never
still
shows
no
up.
Shawnee. So
Yeah,
she never shows.
shows up.
So
Honestly,
I think
don't
they
blame
just
her.
forgot. Yeah. So Aphrodite says, I vote for ice cream shoes, and then that's when the nickname starts.
Ice cream shoes is said 40 times in this book.
Yes, it is.
It's too many times.
Which is 39 times too many. I can deal with once.
No, I can
Once
do
is
one.
acceptable. Beyond that, no. Yeah, so
so she's like, so Zoe's like, the fog isn't natural, and Casey agrees, and like, oh, it must have been vampires. I'm like, vampires are the only ones that can control elements in your world. But okay. Whatever.
Yep. And then Casey gets on her humans are morons high horse.
And then they decide that they think that the European High Council is creeping on them.
Yeah, I mean, that goes nowhere, but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then Aphrodite's like, but what if it's other Nephrit guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go to other Kevin.
So now we're sacrificing Stark, which
we're getting the repeat of Burned.
Yep.
And then I have in all caps, love, always love, how does this fucking book hinge on Kevin's boner?
I don't know, but it does. Oh, is that how they spelt McCollis? Okay, I haven't actually seen that written down in God knows how long. I swear it was spelled differently in the first series. I could be completely wrong, though. Sorry, carry on.
And this is literally just him being sacrificed. Like,
and then
sacrificed. Like, he just gets cut up, and then it just stops.
And then we see Aphrodite, and that's really just it.
Yeah, like, we just see her, and then we leave, and we go back to Zoe. And then they remembered that they celebrate pagan holidays, but with the whole birthmas thing, I forgot about that. So, also, Aphrodite's complaining about there not being a Nordstrom. There's a Nordstrom rack in Tulsa, by the way. I looked it up. So, and Zoe, the genius, responsible motherfucker, forgot all the fucking spell ingredients. Because, by the way, we're warding off vampires. Because we're trying to keep vampires away from here. So, but she
also
forgot
inconsequential. It doesn't matter.
But we also forgot all this. She forgot all the fucking spell ingredients so that other people would have something to do. Because the fact that we need them here for the circle is not enough.
Well, also, I'm freaking pissed off as well, right? Because first book, Aphrodite burns sweet grass to invoke spirits, and Zoe's invoking spirits here. She's invoking them. And Aphrodite burns sweet grass. And Zoe goes apeshit at her. You forgot the sage, you hateful hag, and rah, rah, rah. You always burn sage before sweet grass because of it. Because it wards off the evil spirits, etc. Then Stevie Ray forgets the sage when she does her sweetgrass bull summoning spell. And there is no mention of sage in this scene. But Zoe burns sweetgrass. And I am mad. I'm mad. I'm fucking mad.
The boyfriend just texted me back and saying, was it one of the House of Night authors? And I made me just so proud, but also so sad that he has to have that name in his vocabulary.
So,
yeah. Sorry.
All right.
So they do a spell.
Yes.
Invoke
a fucking
bison
circle.
Spirits.
Yeah, they invoke bison spirits to ward off vampires, and then literally Stark is off to the side. And also, it is repelling vampires doesn't repel them because fucking whatever, I guess. And even like once they break the circle, they don't feel repelled.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck. And also then some bitch walks up to Stark. We find out later it's Lynette, and then Stark doesn't recognize her, although he fucking would have, because there's an entire sequence where they rescue Lynette, and then Lynette leaves on her own. They would have known who this is.
And not just that, Lynette's face, guaranteed, was all over the news for weeks.
Yes.
For weeks, because she was a hostage who escaped and then went back and was killed. And not just that, but her body was found on Neferet's throne.
Yeah.
And she was the only one that had only been exclusively killed by Neferet. And
also, there are a ton of scenes with all of our main characters and Lynette together.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Redeemed, yeah.
So Stark speaks to Lynette directly and is just like, you should be on your way right now. And she's like, oh, yes, cheerio. And he's like, oh, yes, cheerio. And then, like, nothing fucking comes of it until later.
Yeah.
When Aphrodite's like, you fucking nimwit, it was Lynette.
Yeah. Also,
Fucking
when
hell.
they're doing the spell, I don't know if you picked up on this, Faye, but when she read the bit that's like, come spirits of the earth, I call on you this hour, repel those made vampires through rebirth, henceforth they cannot cross this white line of power. The same way she chanted that, like Caitlin Davies chanted that the exact same way in the exact same tone that she did the cheerleading.
I didn't catch that.
It was chanted with the same tone of voice as the cheerleading. And I'm just like, it literally sounded like a cheerleader chant.
That's funny.
Also, yeah. Repel those made vampire through rebirth is a line of the spell. Made vampire through rebirth. I guess
So they
to
mean
make
like
it rhyme with earth. Because they were turned into vampires.
But at the same time,
so does that mean
you don't die to become a blue vampire?
No, so it's not even actually.
That would only repel red vampires. Actually,
you didn't have to like. I don't know if they know this, but they don't have to do AB rhyming sequences in their spells.
No, here's the other thing too.
It's fine if you don't.
Here's the other thing too with like all the poems, I guess, if you want to call them that. I don't know a lot about poetry, but I was forced to talk about it in high school English. I know fucked up rhyming schemes when I hear them. Fucking pick one. Pick a rhyming scheme and stick to it, please. If you're gonna make me sit here, I swear to God, my kids are not allowed to listen. Or not allowed to read Dr. Seuss.
You know what? I would forgive.
I won't have it
if they were haiku. I would forgive the spells if they were haiku because they don't inherently sound like a poem.
Yeah.
But I won't have my
fine.
kids anywhere near Dr. Seuss. Rhyming has been ruined for me. No Dr. Seuss in my goddamn household.
See, Dr. Seuss also would have been, like, Dr. Seuss style poetry would have even been funner than this. Instead, honestly, again, though, if you're going to have someone do spells in your book, make him speak some Latin and then just be like, she chanted some Latin and then a white line did a spread and then it was done.
Or she lit the candle. And also, it's been 20 fucking books, all right? We've seen so much fucking circle casting. She cast the circle.
There's like 3 in this book, too.
Zoe cast the circle.
Yeah. We know exactly what happened.
Because also, before
do we have to describe it in detail every time?
We asked for this one, because this one was a bit different, right? This one was a wee bit different, and it was ridiculous. It was like, what is your role in protecting the earth? I love it.
I wrote that down. I was like, this
Damien's
is so
role
stupid.
in protecting the earth was that he loves it.
I love it.
And then, Fire, what is your role in protecting the earth? I cleanse it. Like, I'm fine with cleanse. Cleanse actually, like, that's fine.
Yeah, I think the rest of them worked.
Yeah, the rest of them work. Water, I nurture it. Stevie Ray didn't hesitate. I am earth, strengthened by the other 4 elements. I get it. It's fine. and
it's just
and then
air.
And then Zoe is
Love it.
and Spirit
I
as
love
well.
that.
I get that too, but yeah, I love it. Like I don't know, like I don't know what else he could have said though, either.
I don't know. Air doesn't really have a relationship with Earth. It's its opposite element.
Like
Its opposite element. I want it to go fuck itself.
I want it to go die in a hole.
Alternatively, Zoe cast the circle. Zoe lit each candle. Fucking.
I feel like that this should have been a circle that Stevie Ray led, because they've done that before when it's
it's Earth-based.
Earth-centered circle. Yeah, when they've had to do an Earth-based circle, Stevie Ray has done the circle herself. They've done that, and this feels like it should be a Stevie Ray circle.
Something else, just something interesting, you know. But whatever the fuck.
Oh, what is your role in protecting this? In protecting it, I breathe life into it.
I'd buy it.
I'd buy it.
Done. No, I love it.
So then we go. Let me flash
Back
to
other
Lynette, and so we get to like what amounts to.
Did you guys see the Pischetti?
Yes.
Gets mentioned again.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna just gloss over it and act like it didn't fucking happen.
No, all right. I'm sorry. My note is you cannot live on a diet of spaghetti and brown pop.
Hey, brown pop was only mentioned once in this book, though. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, same, but still. Like, all they fucking consume is spaghetti and brown pop for the sole purpose of, like, I sang the Pischetti song, and Stark thought it was so cute, and everybody else was so mad.
But for the first 9, or the Pischetti song, I think, is in book 10 or 11.
Yeah.
For every book prior, she says spaghetti.
Yep.
It's mentioned in almost every book before that, and she says spaghetti until the Pischetti song, and now she says Pischetti.
You can't be an adult and say.
And what happened to her cereal obsession?
Yeah.
First few books, she was obsessed with cereal, and now it's just not even mentioned.
You're right.
One does not simply get over a cereal obsession.
Especially in only the span of a year.
In the span of a freaking month in the first series.
So shit gets dumber. We flash to Lynette, and
all of this is useless.
The girls can't just be dumb because they're worshiping Nefret, who was a psycho. They have to be also dumb and have their house decorated with naked pictures. Also, they're like basically in a sorority house, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
But they have to be also doubly dumb because they're dumb rich bitches who also, here's the other thing. Here's something that annoys the shit out of me. You can't be mad at a bunch of rich girls when you're a fucking millionaire. Don't fucking talk to me.
And also, Nefret said that she decorated stuff with like naked pictures of herself too.
Like, also,
you guys are millionaires. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Like, don't fucking talk to me like that. And also, the girls have decorated this house with naked pictures of themselves.
So the common areas of the house is decorated with naked photos of them where they were in there worshipping Epona phase, whoever that is. It's some other goddess.
It's a horse god that's also in Zelda. It made me fucking mad.
Yep. And then their bedrooms are, each of their bedrooms are decorated with naked photos of themselves worshipping Neferet.
Yeah.
So the common areas is them naked, like all 5 of them, and then each of their bedrooms have
just
naked
the
photos
respective
of just
person
themselves. Yeah.
They do this because they're rich.
I mean, I've never been the self-centered rich girl, but I feel like I wouldn't decorate my bedroom with naked photos of myself.
All right.
Like, here's the thing. If this is how rich people act, is this how you guys act? Because, like, here's the thing. You guys are rich. You're famous authors.
But were they born rich? Because remember, that's the difference between that's the difference between Lynette and them, though. Remember, Lynette wasn't born rich; she became rich.
It doesn't fucking matter. Glass houses, motherfucker.
So we can expect here's the thing. Kristen's offspring to decorate her house with naked photos of herself.
Absolutely, if that's the implication. Because here's the thing: once you're not a peasant anymore, you don't get to act like you're still a peasant. You don't get to talk to us like you're still a fucking peasant. Don't fucking look at me like that. No, like fucking don't. You're a famous author who gets to do things like the Paschetti song, and you get to publish this shit, and that's what you get to do. And you know what? More power to you. Whatever the fuck. Don't fucking look at me like that. Don't fucking sit here and act like you're not fucking rich.
I was trying to find out if Kristen Cass was married or not, and I went to her website.
Oh, God.
Okay, so they do decorate their houses like that. Good to know.
Okay. Very good to know. And literally all of Lynette in this chapter is... Oh, wait, sorry. Because then we get to a little chapter break, which is like they got a little moon. That's fine. That one is literally before the chapter break. It's literally just they're there. They're like, oh wow, this is a big house. I'll take that bedroom and that bedroom. And then they decide to research what happened to OG Neferet. Is that all that happens?
What's weird here?
Oh, what is that?
You go to
that?
I don't think so.
What is it? Is that on her website?
It's a photo story.
Of her?
A photo story. I think it's of her, considering that like it just took me to her Instagram.
What website is that on?
Kristen Cast, it's her KC or KCastAuthor.com. Also, PC and Kristen have a new series coming out. It looks like they've completely abandoned Die Sisters. Unless Sisters of Salem is the sequel, which I don't think it is. Because Die Sisters, I don't know if you noticed, it's not even on here. But they are making a new book together called Sisters of Salem, releasing next year.
Yay.
So we're not done with the cast.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's definitely her.
Well.
I'm going to check on Goodreads for Die Sisters and see what's happening with the...
Anyways, the stream's not about the new book, the new books.
So that's pretty much what happens. And then also, so how they said that like the girls are gonna infiltrate House of Night and go ask Zoe. That never happens. I mean, that might have been fucking interesting, but nothing comes of that shit. They they literally Google it because Zoe gave an interview about how they trapped Neferet.
Yeah.
And Zoe was literally like, here's how we did it. And then Lynette just finds it, and that's how we find out.
And then they're like, all right, well, we're going to release her, and we're going to do a circle. Or they find out that she's going to do a circle tonight. And so they're like, okay, well, we're just going to release Neferet. That's it. That's chapter. And then the next chapter is, again, other Lynette.
Yeah, Neferet is dressed up. Also, apparently the girls are in college. So they so the Neferet and other Lynette eat up on them doing a spell. We find out definitively.
It was Lynette talking to Stark. Yeah. You continue.
And then,
yes.
And then also, Lynette says, and I quote, like Lynette repeated the spell word for word. It's a Christmas miracle. They learned. So, you know, also, they also say something about them waiting night after night, but it's been like a single night, like the same fucking day that they got there. So they haven't been waiting for fucking jack shit.
What did you find?
I keep saying that the second book's already been published, and I can't find it anywhere.
It's a like graphic novel or something like that.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Never mind then.
So then we're like in chapter 10, we're still with other Lynette, and they're trying to figure out how to do Nefret, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna have them sacrifice their dignity, but then actually sacrifice them.
We also found out Lynette's been raped.
Okay.
It's just something we find out for whatever.
And
or at least other Lynette.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Aphrodite, sorry. Nefret and Lynette are talking, and this is also where like Nefret's kind of redemption arc sort of starts, because she's like, it's really weird because she's like, we're gonna kill them, but it's gonna be fine because we're gonna be sad about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to make her redeemable, which is fucking bizarre. And so then
they're gonna do their releasing of Nefret tomorrow. That's literally all that chapter is.
Yeah. And so then we're with other Kevin, they're with Aphrodite, and Aphrodite's like, Aphrodite's just like, I'm so glad you're here, but I don't give a fuck because like I'm not sad anymore, but like I love you, but like you should go fuck somebody else. And that's literally it.
And we just chill in Nyx's Grove for way too long.
Yeah, literally. So then we're back to other Lynette. Lynette finds out that then Lynette just looking on the internet, she finds out that Nefret murdered her OG self.
Yep.
And that's
then we jump to Zoe.
Yeah. We jump to Zoe, and Zoe's like, OMG, it's icy.
And the power's out.
And the power's out.
Yep.
And no one lives in Zoe's old room, so Stevie Ray can stay there.
Yeah.
And then we're back to other Nefret. So
because that's fun.
Other Nefret knows what Nefret did, and now they're going to imprint. Then we're to
which
other
was
Lynette.
Very sexual.
And it's super sexual.
Wait, it started off as sexual. It started as sexual.
Yeah.
It's sexual the whole time.
No, Lynette goes, in the beginning it was very sexual, and Lynette had the thought of we could be doing more. But then when it's over and they've imprinted, Nefret's like, you're my sister now.
Yep. My only note for the Lynette's part of this chapter is cool, Lynette wants to fuck Nefret. And then I wrote chapter 14, other Nefret.
And then, Vanessa is like, you guys, I didn't know you guys were gay. And then Nefret freaks out. And then we're back to other Nefret. They're going to go get Nefret with the 5 girls. And then, like, she kills the guard named Odin.
Yeah.
Who we find out.
That's later. She doesn't, real Nefret kills Odin.
No, it's other Nefret that does it.
Nope, it's it because I read that part today.
Wait,
the actual Nefret kills Odin.
No, it's her. She kills the one guard.
I'm gonna find.
It's some rando. They name him, but
Odin comes later. Odin's the second guard that they kill.
Yep.
This is just some random one, I think.
All right, whatever. So they kill a guard. I thought there was only one guard there though, because it was icy.
Yeah. There was only one guard there, but then Odin. Wait, here.
Odin is before Nefret goes to the other world.
Okay.
Right before.
Odin is
it's her sacrifice to get over there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's walking through Tulsa to go and do a thing, and then she finds Odin.
Okay, so they kill the guard that's there. The girls get naked, and then
wearing their Ugg boots in the winter.
They're wearing their Ugg boots in the winter because apparently that's supposed to protect them from the cold, and the ice and the wet, even though Ugg boots are fucking cloth. And then Nefret's dark things kill them, but Nefret's supposed to be redeemable because she's sad about it. So then we're at 15 with other Nefret, and then things are trembling, and there's spectral bison. They're like, grr, and then normal Nefret's like, go away. So now they're gone, and then OG Nefret has like
pops out, and
shitty
she's disgusting.
And she's gross, and her proportions are fucked up, and then
she looks like a mantis, apparently.
Whatever. And then this is the one part that they got right because they don't like each other.
Yep.
Yep. yeah, this is the one thing that really I was like, well done you, because Nefret comes out and she like it looks like she hasn't eaten in a year and she's, evil. And other Nefret is like, she looks batshit crazy, and the other one's like, who are you and why are you not immortal?
Yeah.
And
and then
I'm like,
sorry.
well done. I thought, because I was worried that they were going to be like, oh, you're gorgeous too, let's be BFFs. Okay, we'll take over the worlds together.
Well, that's what was supposed to happen. That was like the plan, and then it didn't.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to have some weird kind of like self-incestuous relationship with each other.
That's what I thought was going to happen too.
Yeah.
And then apparently OG Nefret smells Lynette on other Nefret, and she's like, oh,
you have my human.
You have my human, and now for whatever the fuck reason, I'm obsessed with her. So I'm going to go to the ends of the earth. And so then other Nefret and other Lynette yeet out, and now they're back in the other world. And that's kind of that. So
and then Nefret goes to the house.
Yeah.
And so then I'm going to claim both worlds. She's like, I'm going to claim both worlds, and I'm going to use the white bull to take me to the other world after I feed a bit and give him something worthwhile.
And then this just happened, and then I was like, my note for this was, might I remind us this happened, because Zoe's fucking dumb. And then people are fucking ice skating right now, even though they know that the weather phenomenon is happening because Nefret's here, and they're fucking ice skating. And then also Zoe sees Aphrodite, and she's like, oh, Aphrodite's about to be a fun sucker. And I'm like, I don't mean to be a fun sucker, but does your fucking liability insurance cover impromptu ice skating? Also, Rafame's ice skating, which was fucking weird.
Also, our best friend is here, guys. Grandma Redbird. And she teaches at the school.
Yes. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
And then this is when Aphrodite's like, I don't give a fuck about your stupid ice skating. Lynette was here. This is a lot more important.
Yeah.
And then an orb.
Aphrodite's the only one with half a brain.
Yeah. And an orb appears above the statue of Nyx. And it's Kevin and Other Stark. And I was really excited because I knew it wouldn't happen, but a small part of me hoped that Other Stark and Stark would fuck off and go butt fuck each other into the sunset.
That's what I was hoping would happen.
I still hoped.
I was like, maybe. And
then Aphrodite cries. Aphrodite and Jack both cry at seeing them.
Yep.
When Jack started sobbing, I just started laughing my fucking ass off. Like, it made me laugh. Like, I was delirious.
And then Damien has to like carry him away and coddle him off screen. And I'm like, fucking, at least it's off screen.
It was fucking funny though, because like all of a sudden, like the one mention we get of Jack, like the one mini mention we get of Jack at this point is just like Jack just started sobbing, and I was like, fucking A.
Of course he did. That's his personality.
I know, right? Jack's entire personality is
he's gay and he cries.
He's gay, he cries, and baby monitors. That one time.
I am bringing Styx in because we are fast approaching
the Stark conversation.
I did
next chapter.
I did pre-do it. I pre-asked. Mine as well.
I'll wait until he's in so I don't have to say it twice. But because the Starks both have a little chat with each other.
I have it bookmarked so that I can do a dramatic reading of this conversation.
Okay, when he's in, I'll put the thingy in his. I'll put.
So chapter 17.
Other Stark.
We're in with Other Stark, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're bleeding. We're gonna go bandage you up, and then you'll heal if you just drink blood." And I'm like, "Well, if blood heals them, why don't you just fucking have him drink blood? Fucking whatever. Skip stitches." And then in all caps, I have, "Oh my God, just read the bookmarked part." So here we are.
Yeah. Okay. He's coming. I hear the back door, so he'll be in here in a second. Because we need to know what men think if this is an appropriate thing to say to their
doppelganger.
The doppelganger of themselves, and it's weird. It's weird.
It made me not like
weird.
Stark anymore. I had so much hope for other Stark. I still love Stark. Don't get me wrong. I love him. He will always be the one in the series for me. But it just hurts.
This hurts. This was fucking painful.
This was ridiculous. How long does it take him to come in here? I heard the back door shut.
He's taking his sweet ass time.
He doesn't want to.
He's like, I've been here before. I know they just ask me stupid questions that I have to answer, and I'm...
Here we go. Come sit. Because the lighting's all fucked up at the moment. Okay, so I guess the easiest way to
is for her to read it.
Preface this, is her main chick who's had multiple boyfriends at the same time throughout the entire series. Mm-hmm. She now only has one, and his doppelganger has come through from an alternate reality, and this is the two doppelgangers meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yep. Are you going to do the dramatic reading?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, go.
Well, I guess it's only right that I have your scars. Apparently, you have my girl. From the other side of the room, the nurse gasped. And then, very slowly, Stark met his gaze and said, "Yeah, well, you're all right. But for me, a while ago. So let me help you out, and maybe you won't have to go through all the same shit I did to understand this. Zoe isn't mine. She isn't yours either. Zoe belongs to herself. Am I her oath-bound warrior? Yes, actually, I'm more than that. But we'd need Saurus? And a lot, okay, and a lot more time than I have right now to explain that part to you. And anyway, the most important thing for you to get is that Z is her own person. She makes her own decisions. I've sworn to protect her, and I will do that as long as I'm alive, no matter what. So if she decides she wants to be with you while you're in this world, that's completely her decision to make, and it doesn't have shit to do with me." "And you'd be okay if she hooked up with me?" "Hooked up with you?" Stark laughed, and behind them, the nurse snorted. God damn.
The nurse needs to leave.
Damn, you're definitely the old me. Okay, look, whether I'm okay with anything that goes on between you and Zoe isn't the point. The point is that there is nothing you could do that would mess up the bond Z and I have. I'm not sure what you're telling me. Yeah, I can see that, and that's too bad. But
I'm not sure what he's telling you either.
Long, Z'll set you straight.
Okay.
What?
So effectively, he's like, "Hello, other me. If my girlfriend wants to bang you, I'm not going to have a problem with that. If a doppelganger of you came into this world and you met him and you were like, hey, if Mara wants to bang you, that's fine with me."
No.
No.
It sounds like like I can think of like who was the YouTuber whose girlfriend was fucking other guys and he was like, "We have an emotional connection, not a physical one."
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was that
I forget.
Destiny or something?
No, it wasn't Destiny.
Was that
it was,
I think
no.
Destiny's missus does sleep around there. Vaguely from memory, I think I heard something like that. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Yeah,
I
can't remember his name.
There's been a few. It just sounds like the kind of story a dude tells himself when he's resigned to Dark Aldrin.
So you would not be okay with you from a different universe fucking me?
No. I mean,
is it cheating? Because they're both you.
Well, if we didn't know about this dude, right?
No. If I slept with an alternate reality version of you,
it'd be hard to hold it against you because you thought it was me.
But if I knew that it wasn't you, but it was an alternate reality version of you, if I knew it and I
also the established.
Would you leave Mara over it?
Also, the established. Let me just also add this.
I don't know. You know, it's really hard because I've never thought these questions through because it's never going to happen.
But also, the established
Alternate
lore of this
reality
universe
just isn't going to turn on.
The established lore of this universe, though, is that even though they're alternate reality versions of these people, is that they are completely separate people, and that they're definitely not the same.
Except
people.
for when they're not.
Yeah, except for Jack and Kevin.
Except for if they're gay toddlers.
Or Kevin.
Yes.
Oh, okay, right. That doesn't mean much to me. Yes, no, I don't support this.
So you would not give your alternate reality self permission to bone me? You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't give other me permission to bone you. Other me can bone other you.
What if I'm dead? Other me is dead.
Well, put it this way. Would you be down for me having a threesome with you and other you?
No, because other me is dead. Other me is dead.
Oh, we'll just pick any random chick as a fill-in, then.
Get out!
Alright, bye, Stacey.
Fucking men.
He's so satisfied with himself as he left. He was so satisfied.
He was. I'm sad now.
That was funny. I just
Love advice from Book Club with Faye. Don't let your girlfriend fuck the other version of you from an alternate reality, because that's cheating. Goodbye.
I just asked my boyfriend the same question, and he's not responding. I'm gonna wait. We'll see what happens though. So
we'll come back to
let's
it.
Continue.
So then
anyways, the conversation ends with Other Stark saying, "Yeah, I want to fuck Zoe. Let's do it."
But also, like, because Stark acts like he's a dumbass for not understanding, but I don't understand what he's saying.
I don't understand. Is that clearance or is that not clearance? I don't understand.
I don't get it.
But I guess I think the point is I don't get to have any say in who Zoe fucks. So if she wants to fuck you, I'm not gonna break up with her. But if she doesn't want to fuck you, then you don't get to fuck her.
Yeah, I think that's.
But
she gets to decide whose dick goes in her.
But also, though, we get like Stark gets offended by him saying like, "Oh, it's your girl," and what I asked my boyfriend was like, it's like, "Hey, am I quote unquote your girl? Is this a thing we consider to be a thing?" And he was like, "What the like? Obviously, but what the fuck?"
Honestly, if I was dating a guy and someone was like, "Oh, is this your girl?" and he's like, "First of all, she's not my girl. She's her own girl, and she just happens to let me fuck her." I would be dumping him.
I would be like, I'm so unattracted to you right now.
Like I would be very offended that if my boyfriend did not consider me to be his. I mean, there's a line where it's like, "Oh, who are you talking to? You don't get to have any friends." Like, blah blah blah. Like,
her face.
You know, because you know, there is a point where it becomes toxic, sure, but in general, no. If someone is your life partner, for lack of a better term, you know, or you know, your significant other in any significant way to you, you are theirs and they are yours, and that is just how it works. You belong to each other, and it's fine. And I would be very upset if my boyfriend was like, "First of all, no."
I would be like, "Wait, what do you mean no? Did we just break up?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd
be like, "Them's just fighting words."
And I'm like, "Go away, find your testosterone, and come back. Because until then, we're not ever having sex again."
Yeah,
I would be very upset.
So we go to other Kevin, and we're pining over Aphrodite,
and jealous of old Darius.
Yeah, and then we see Casey, and he goes, "She was a young woman of color," and
what was she? I didn't know
and
this.
I'm like, "Fuck me."
But
so
what does that mean?
The other.
What does that mean? Is she black? Is she Asian? Is she Hispanic? Like, what is she?
There are lots of colors.
There are lots of races that fall into that category, the castes. Yeah, so we've gone from one version of problematic to another. Like, because
you can describe your characters, dude.
And if she's black, is she like direct African descent? Is she African American? Because they are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
If she's Asian, what kind of Asian? Is she Indian Asian? Is she East Asian?
Here's the thing. There are resources you can find of black and other writers of different ethnicities describing how they want skin tones to be described. And those are resources that they have put out there for you to use.
Yeah.
And they're very expansive. They're very extensive resources. And I highly recommend that you check them out if you are confused on how to describe ethnic skin tones or skin tones that aren't your own, or even like
even your own
skin tone.
It's all that
because it's a massive He said, "What? No, sorry." Because it's a massive library of words, and it's a really good resource.
Yeah, like people can say whatever and people can say whatever the fuck they want about the English language being complicated. It fucking is. Sure, it's really complicated language. I would hate to have to learn it as a second language.
Yeah,
However, one of the beauties of us having a million different root languages and so many words and etc. is we have a lot of words to say the exact same thing. So if you're also just looking for a different way to say a particular type of skin tone, that resource is also great to add some variety in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like in those resources, they go all out. They give you much better ways to even describe white people's skin tones, because white people even have different undertones in their skin tones. So, for example, if you're describing a black person, black people come in all different shades. I'm assuming Casey's black. I don't, because they just said woman of color.
They don't tell us.
I'm assuming they meant black by that. I don't know, but I'm guessing
because
they've only ever had Native American people and black people, so I don't know. But you could say medium dark skin or dark or like whatever with whatever undertones you want to throw in. Like because there are lots of resources. I'm dumb and I'm talking and my words aren't great sometimes.
Light brown skin.
Yeah, because
right.
I mean, like there are some people who are black, but they are paler than me. But their skin tone is obviously the undertones of their skin is obvious is clearly, for example, African American, but they're biracial and they have paler skin than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at them and you're like, that's a black person.
Right.
Like pale doesn't inherently mean white, for example, and that's where the different like using a color basis, a comparison of some sort helps, because also someone who has a winter skin tone, like someone who's white that has a winter skin tone and is pale, has a completely different skin color than someone who is white but has a summer skin tone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like give us something to work with, not just a person of color.
Well, this is also another reason why you should describe the skin tone of every single character, because you shouldn't leave us in a position where we're assuming that the default is white. That's not the practice that authors go by. It's not the best practice anymore. That's not the industry standard. So you should be describing everybody's skin tone. Another thing is that even though, say, a Hispanic person might have what on a white person looks like tan skin, you want to avoid possibly using tan as a descriptor for that skin tone, because the word tan,
olive complexion.
Yeah, because tan, or sometimes even olive, depending on the context, can seem like a descriptor for a white person's skin tone.
Sure.
So, because tan means to a lot of people dark white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these are things that if you look at these resources can help you be mindful of that. And I do highly recommend it, because what and it's just something that you do naturally, is that you use yourself as a baseline because you're in your own head, and that's a totally normal thing to do. But when you're writing about other people and you're writing for the widest audience possible, you know, it's nice to just be inclusive.
Yeah, and it helps, like, and readers that don't know about you, I'm assuming yes, because she's a normal. But as far as I was aware, readers like to get a visual of what they're seeing, which is why we describe settings, which is why we describe people in general. When you just say a person of color, like, you could be imagining someone who looks like a younger version of Oprah, for example. Whereas I could be imagining, oh God, I can't even think of someone with a completely different skin tone to Oprah, but someone who, like, I could be picturing
an Asian person.
You could be picturing an Asian. I could be picturing a lighter skinned black person.
Yeah.
We could be thinking of completely different facial features, completely different skin tones, different face shapes.
Right.
I mean, like, you don't have to go into every detail of their face shape and their eye shape and their mouth shape, but give us, like, at least a basic visual.
Right. A person of color is not a description. That's not a description of a person. That's not even giving us a baseline, really. You're just saying this person is not white, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, like for Aphrodite, we have that she's short with big curly blonde hair, big eyes, a round face. You know, we have a basic idea of what Aphrodite looks like.
Yeah, we know that Stevie Ray has short curly hair. Like, we know what Stevie Ray looks like. You know, we know that Eric Knight is tall, has dark hair, has like
Bright
these
blue
striking
eyes.
blue eyes. Like, we have this like really incredible visual of him. And then for Casey, we just get, she's a vague person of color, and it's like, that's
with blonde hair.
Wait, what?
She's blonde hair. It's mentioned once. Which is described as Beyonce blonde hair.
Like, which is fine.
So honey blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would say as well, if you're going to describe someone as well, maybe also don't use a pop culture figure as a reference, unless it's like, for example, Superman, because Superman is timeless. But there's a good chance that in 30 years, if someone picked up this book, they'd look at it and go, who the fuck is Beyonce? And what is a Beyonce blonde? Like, even if they know who Beyonce is, she could have had dark hair for like the last 2 decades. Who knows?
That's like if, you know, I were to say Rihanna red hair. Rihanna had red hair for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pick, like with that you would say cherry red.
Yeah.
The Beyonce blonde, you would say honey blonde.
Yeah.
Or golden blonde.
Yeah.
Something like that. There's words without that, but also, yeah, again, just give us something to work with, because I actually didn't even I'm not gonna lie, I think I did picture Casey as white because we got nothing.
Yeah.
I missed the person of color bit.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that because blonde hair is something that is typically seen on white people, and like, there's nothing wrong with giving a black person blonde hair. Black people dye their hair blonde. If you're going to do that, there is nothing wrong with telling us that she is black.
Yeah. Fuck, she
and
she
explicitly
could even be Samoan
saying,
for all we know.
Or explicitly saying she's like, we're told that Daryl is half black, half Chinese, like, for example, in the Mercy books.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. Never mind.
Sorry.
Carry on.
But we're told that explicitly. So if we were told, like, for example, she's Asian and her hair is blonde, then we're like, okay, got it. But in that way, we're not like trying to figure out if she's really tan with blonde hair. You're just like, okay, she's black, she's got one, got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like, that way we know, and it's very clear what's going on, because there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just.
Yeah, and with Daryl as well, like, we get more than just half black, half Chinese as well. Like, Mercy even makes a point of saying, like, his features are a perfect blend of the two, etc. Like, she gives us more than just that, so it actually sticks in our head. Whereas when you just say, oh, a person of color came walking up, it's easy to forget that. Whereas when we get a description of them, it sticks a bit better because it's not just 2 words in a sentence.
Right. Yeah.
Because, yeah. But anyway, Casey is an unknown person of color, apparently.
Yes. Yeah. Only description we've gotten in last book was light brown skin.
Oh, did we? We got that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So she could be African American.
She could be anything.
Islander,
she could be Native American. She could be Indian. She could be
Hispanic.
She could be Hispanic. She could be.
We know that she's not white, and her hair is probably dyed blonde. Probably.
It is dyed.
It
is dyed. It said dyed blonde.
Okay, then so her hair is dyed blonde, and she could be anything.
So we've ruled out East Asian, and we've ruled out Nigerian, effectively.
Yes, a cute girl with a blue fledgling mark, light brown skin, and lots of thick hair, expertly dyed. I don't know what that word is. Beychella, like B-E-Y, Chella. So maybe Beyonce at Coachella. Maybe that's what they meant. Blonde hurried past us.
Okay.
I'm
thinking they mean African American.
I'm thinking they do too.
And then this is where we disrespect other Stark and name him James without his consent.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, what about Jimmy? And he's like, no, thank you. And she's like, oh, well, Ice Cream Shoes is so much cooler than Jimmy. No, it's not, but whatever. And I wrote this down. I think that was supposed to be their meet cute because I read the epilogue first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I needed to know what was going to happen. Mostly because I Command F'd Heath. To see if Heath was in this book.
Heath
is in the epilogue.
Spoiler
Anyways.
alert. Yep, he is.
My fucking arch nemesis. And then I think they're on the way to the park. I think.
Yeah, in the next chapter, they're on the way to the park. They're literally just sussing out the shit we already fucking know.
Aphrodite had a vision.
She has a vision. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then chapter 19, Aphrodite. Lavender and CBD.
Yeah, now we're obsessed with CBD. I'll be right back.
Zoe, who spent like the first 2-3 books telling us about just how bad any kind of the marijuanas are, is now
obsessed with CBD.
Oh, I'm giving her CBD smoothies and gonna bathe her in CBD.
Yeah.
So, she's like, but it's medicinal. I'm like, people who have that visceral a distaste for something won't even accept the medicinal version of it.
Won't even accept the part, because THC is what gets you high. CBD doesn't really do anything except for numb your body a little bit.
Yeah. But Zoe is not. Zoe, the character we established, was so anti-drug, like so anti-marijuana, it was insane to let's CBD the fuck out of Aphrodite.
But then we find out that Casey is OP as fuck for no reason. She can now sense emotions, so she's going to be a prophetess now, as well as having an affinity for 2 elements.
Yep.
And they start calling Nefret Batshit. That is her name, is Batshit now.
Yeah. Original Nefret is Batshit, and other Nefret is other Nefret. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I do appreciate the fact that we now have
something else to call Nefret.
Distinction. Yeah, and like I know why they did Stark and James and stuff, but I'm like, look, if we can't, maybe don't write a series where that's going to be an issue, though. Maybe.
The vision shows other Kelowna fighting Nefret, and then other Nefret retreats, but she was on our side, apparently.
Or it appears that she might have been, and she's like, Lynette, run! And then, like, the 2 of them yeet, and they both die, and then everyone dies.
Yeah.
And so Aphrodite's like, I think other Neferet is going to be on our side. And then they're like, oh, the poem.
Yeah.
Because we got the poem last book, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Then essentially nothing happens. The rest of the crew couldn't find anything out. I'm bored, and there's still 15 chapters left, is what I wrote down. Jack will not leave his room because he's a toddler. and doesn't want to see Stark. And we send James to the infirmary, and we decide we have to go to the other world now. So now we're jumping back to we're gonna jump back to the other world.
Wait, before we do that, sorry. Stark and Zoe have a thing.
Oh yeah, that's next.
Stark kisses her. Zoe
doesn't
return the. Yeah, sorry.
She stands like a plank.
James.
Yes, James.
James. Yeah. She doesn't return the kiss, but she doesn't pull away. She just lets him kiss her, and it sounds like it goes on for a while.
Yeah, sounds like he's just like macking on, and you can tell if someone's not kissing you back. You can tell if someone's just like slack lip against you.
Yeah, like wait, where is this?
Chapter
I've
20.
got the description. Here we go. His lips were the same. The arms that because she's like it was different to kissing Maya Stark. His lips were the same. The arms that came around me were the same, but his touch was hesitant, not strong and sure and familiar. I'd kissed him once before in his world, but that had been fast and impulsive. This was a real kiss. I didn't return it, but I also didn't pull away. It was the most neutral kiss of my life. Not unpleasant, just not right. James eventually stopped and steps back.
Very apt timing for your iPad to fall over.
He eventually, so he's standing there kissing her for a good 10 Mississippis at least, I reckon.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Well, you're not my Stark. Like the other person is a different person."
Well, but we established in the first book of this series that they are the same people.
Yeah, because Jack exists, and she also calls Kevin her brother, and she's closer to this Kevin than her actual, biological brother.
Yeah. So while Jack and Damien are the same enough to just, hook up with each other, after meeting for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And just act like they've been together the whole time.
Because both their counterparts died.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, I loved my Jack, so I must love you. Well, I loved my Damien, I must love you. Let's be together. Whereas now it's...
No, they're different people. We're different people.
Where are we at?
Oh, we're 21.
When he really awkwardly kissed her for way too long and she didn't react.
Okay.
Yeah, because we know it was a long kiss because he eventually stopped.
Eventually stopped macking on her face. So then we move to Other Stark, and he's leaving the temple and runs into ice cream shoes.
Yep, and they flirt and have lunch and shit, and
they're supposed to be bonding, is what I wrote down.
Wild feminist in her large, gorgeous breasts.
Yes, she's literally wearing a shirt that says "Wild Feminist" on it.
Yep, there has been at least one wild feminist article of clothing in every book of this series.
And then she's like, "Were you distracted by my tits?" And he's like, "I mean, they're nice tits." And she's just like, "What?"
And then also, she goes off on, a thing about how education fights racism. I just want to say something, because she's like, is your House of Night not like this with humans running around? And she's like, education, it fights racism. Another thing that, just to point this out in this universe, that would be fine, maybe, if, this was akin to racism, but it's not. Because with that allegory, what you're basically saying is that Black people are powerful, scary
white people.
Yeah, but Black people are powerful people with magical powers who have the ability to eat, who need to eat white people and have the ability to subjugate them. I don't feel like that's what you wanted to imply, but that's what you just implied.
Because in this universe, in any universe that involves vampires, it is reasonable for people to not like them. It is perfectly reasonable.
It will always be reasonable for humans to fear something that eats them.
Yeah.
What they are saying effectively, if we're going to use real world metaphors for this, is it was unreasonable, especially for the other world. The other world especially, it is unreasonable for the other world. It would be unreasonable that for the Jews to not be scared of the Nazis. It would be reasonable for them to not be scared of the Nazis.
It's fine.
Yeah.
'Cause
Or like basically
the vampires in the other world were literally subjugating the humans and killing them.
and also like in this world when you consider what Nefrit did.
Yeah. Like
Like,
I
what
think
you're saying is,
that
like, if cows could walk and talk, it would be unreasonable of the cows to not just be like, oh, why can't we be friends? Like that's dumb. Because like I said, pretty much what you just said is that Black people are beings that one eat white people and also have magical powers, and the two white people are dumb for that's stupid. It's not the same. You have not set up
vampires eat people. It might not be the standard to kill them, but they do eat them. Vampires have the power to control their minds. And they can do whatever the fuck they want and imprint on them, take away their free will. They're stronger than them. They're faster than them. They are higher in the food chain. You are supposed to be fearful of those higher in the food chain than you.
Yep.
And yeah, so you have not created a situation that is analogous to racism.
No.
At all.
I mean, it would be fair if someone was like, hey, look, vampires and werewolves, they really could get along if they just stopped hating each other. That's analogous to racism because they're both equally
footing.
Yeah, different footing but equal footing. But humans and vampires never, in no universe, are vampires and humans on equal footing.
Right, because humans are inside of the house at night because vampires are allowing it to be that way.
Not because humans are infiltrating it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because humans are prejudiced against vampires because they're afraid of them, and they're afraid of vampires because vampires need human blood to live.
And are powerful enough to get it by force.
As much as we joke about like, oh, I'd love to be a vampire, like you'd be fucking terrified if something needs to eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like vampires have created their own global law system, etc., separate from humans, etc. Guess what? Normal people aren't allowed to just go, you know what? I refuse and create their own nation.
Also,
like some people have succeeded, but it's been very difficult and they're not legally recognized.
You know how vampires actually operate, given that they are the great poets, the great, like, everything in the world. Vampires in this universe literally operate how Alex Jones thinks that Jews operate.
They control everything.
I'm not wrong.
I can't stand that mention of Alex Jones, and you know exactly why I can't do it.
I know,
but you're not wrong.
But I'm not wrong. They literally created a world in which Hitler would have been right about the vampires in this case, not Hitler.
Of course, he wasn't right. He was wrong.
He was wrong. But if Hitler had been talking about the vampires, he actually would have been.
Which I imagine in this world he actually was talking about the vampires in this universe.
Oh no, they don't really mention Hitler.
They don't. Is that
Thank
because
God.
he was talking about the vampires? And they set up a lore in which there is a race of people that control the banks.
Did you take the tip off your vape?
I was going to refill it.
Oh, I was like, why is it tipless? Just the tip is gone.
Because I can't believe it took me 20 books to realize that. But can we just sit here for 2 more seconds and appreciate that they created a world in which Alex Jones is correct? And I hate that. I hate everything about that.
At least he's not correct about making frogs gay.
Don't okay, writing advice for Cobra Bay, don't ever create a world in which you switch a word, Hitler would have been right. Don't ever make Hitler correct. That's bad. Hitler being correct is bad. Don't do it.
Well, Well, we all know as well that in this world, because this world is literally like all the same people exist in this world as they do in our world, like important figures. In this world, Hitler would not have been raging against the Jews. He would have been raging against the vampires. And in this world, Hitler was correct.
Because what he would have said
That's what they did.
Because what he would have said is that the vampires control the banks, they control the arts, he would
definitely hate them because they controlled the arts.
And they wanted to eat us.
And he would have been
real mad.
Right. He would have. You guys created a world in which Hitler was right, and I'm so angry about that. That's not okay.
Hitler would have won World War II in this world. Like, this series never should have happened because Hitler would have won.
Because America
would be German.
Yeah, everyone would have been like, "Fuck, he's right."
Heck, what just happened is that we just had an epiphany that the cast created a world in which the vampires are an accidental analogy of the Jews, sort of what Alex Jones thinks that the Jews are.
Yes.
Not the actual Jews. That's not what I meant. This is getting real dicey.
All right, then let's move on. So we are planning.
Have we been out yet?
Poems.
Not me, okay?
So there's planning and poems.
This is not my fucking fault. I didn't write this shit. I call it as I fucking see it.
So we're just gonna take a giant gaggle of people to the other world from our world, and they realize
for some reason, James and Kevin can't go back with them. They have to go back the other way for some reason.
Yeah,
for some reason.
There's no good reason for it.
But
no.
The way that they plan on going back is like, oh my god, we can just cast a circle and go over there. That's not how this fucking works. That's not how you establish this works whatsoever, even just 3 books ago.
So apparently there are like 35 ways that you can just yeet between worlds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gets even simpler by the end.
And do you know how you do it? Do you know how you do it? Do you know how you do with the circle?
Yeah, say, excuse me.
A super duper strong circle.
Yeah, you get both Kevin and Zoe to cast it.
You cast an extra strong circle and you ask super duper nicely.
Can you pin Check's message to the screen, please? You know I'm unhappy when this is my eyeball is all you see.
I'm not gonna lie as well. I completely forgot who Denise was for a while there.
Same. Would we sing happy birthday on the stream?
I think we would.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your ears, but
yeah, I apologize for what's about to happen, but
I'll sing you happy birthday.
We'll sing you happy birthday.
Whose birthday is it?
I think it's Check's.
Soon.
Check, it's your birthday.
If it's your birthday, we will. Because
July is a good month.
Yeah.
His birthday's not till Wednesday.
We probably won't stream before.
We'll we'll sing later.
Yeah,
we'll close it out with the song.
We'll close it out with this song. I agree. That's how we'll close the stream.
We'll get it as close to your birthday as possible.
Yeah,
because it is Tuesday now for all of us.
God, we gotta get.
Because tomorrow's time, my birthday's in 10 hours. Yeah, it's late, guys. We
gotta.
Who cares? So we also have a Q&A, unless we want to save the Q&A for next time we meet.
No.
Okay, let's get through it.
So we're leaving Darius behind because he has to protect the House of Night. So we're gonna leave Aphrodite alone in the other world with Kevin.
Yep, and other Neferet and other Lynette have yeeted back.
They're already gone.
Neferet's going around killing everyone to get enough power to go over and take over both worlds.
Also, we're just not gonna do anything about that. Everybody's like, whatever.
She'll be over there soon. We'll get her then.
Yeah. Other Kevin and Aphrodite have a conversation where Aphrodite's like,
Aphrodite's like, I have a boner for you, but that's neither here nor there. We've ranted about that though.
Yeah.
We won't rant about it.
So Nefret hunts warriors, poems to get to the other world. She talks to Oak to get some information. Other Lynette there in Scotland in their world. The girl they killed last book tells them that the other Nefret's coming, which we already knew. This Nefret's like, I'm not going to go mad. Let's just buy an island. But fuck, we have to fight Nefret. We have to end up at the House of Night. Cool. The end.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah, so other Neferet is like already like, no, Lynette's like, why don't we just buy you an island and we'll bring all the great poets and artists there and you can just be their queen. You don't have to be a goddess. It's fine. And she's like, yes, I shall be a benevolent ruler. However,
but first we need to murder this Nefret.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to murder her.
So she's gone from global domination to just island domination, which I think is some character improvement.
Buying an island off the coast of Italy and just calling it an afternoon. That's all she wants to do.
Yeah,
but we're also fucking
getting more realistic.
Murdered a bunch of people and tried to subjugated humans.
No, we're ignoring that. No, we're ignoring all of that.
Like,
we literally adopt Nefret and she calls us her family. Yes, that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, no, we just like nobody gives a fuck because here's the thing. Kelowna was evil. He was so evil because he, like Eric Knight, didn't want people to cheat. Nefret gets to be a child again, even though two versions of her went on murder sprees.
Yep. And
well, it's different because now she never got raped.
Yeah, because our Neferet, she was raped by her daddy, and then fallen Kelowna started whispering to her. Whereas this one, in the other Neferet, Kelowna never fell, and she wasn't raped by her daddy. She was raped by her fiance, but we turned back the clock to before she got raped, so now she's fine. Even though she was a horrible human being before anything bad ever happened to her.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't undo the core. Like, her issues were not caused by some bad event. She was a bad person first.
Also, being raped doesn't make you murder people.
No.
Like, I understand. I also understand Al Neferet's. I'm saying Al because OG Neferet.
Yeah.
I understand her motivations a lot more because again, like, she would be very fucked up because she spent a year worrying that her dad was going to start molesting her and then he violently raped her.
Yeah.
And then an evil person started whispering in her ears for a century and a half. So I see how she got to where she is. I see it. I get it. However, in general, other Neferet has no such excuse. Being raped does not make you go fuck all humans. Unless you want an excuse.
Unless you're already predisposed to feel that way a little bit, and that was just the catalyst.
Yeah. But Kelowna's evil because
he didn't want to be cheated on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Monogamy is only fine when the woman expects it.
Yeah. So Skiach calls Zoe and is like, hi, the sprites won't speak to me and they're on Nefret's side, but guess what? Love will be Nefret. Also, if you want to come vacay here after this is over, come hit me up. Let's come vacay.
Have we talked about how everybody's calling Nefret batshit yet?
Yes.
Yeah, and then even Skiach is like, oh yes, batshit. I'm like, Skiach is like a millennium years old.
She would never
she's like an elegant queen, and she's like, oh yes, batshit, that makes sense. Like, fuck
even
off.
Fucking Nyx calls her batshit. She calls Casey ice cream shoes. Nyx, you're a child. All right. Darius wants Kevin to swear as Aphrodite's warrior while they go.
We already ranted.
We're getting ready to leave. Grandma made bracelets that matter for a quarter of a second that don't actually matter. Love, always love, fuck me in my life. I said twice on the same page. There's a full page of them just getting praised by random folks just standing around.
Yes.
And then we circle.
Like, the praise was some fucking horse shit.
Then we circle.
You're awesome,
then they made it.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also when Kevin and James go back, do they go back to Sky, or do they just somehow end up in Tulsa?
No,
They just somehow end up in Tulsa.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so they go back to Aphrodite. They go back to visit other Aphrodite in Nyx's realm, and then she pops them back down in Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
So
we're
they could have
other
literally
Kevin.
just stepped through the portal.
But they could have just stepped through the portal, but we have to go see Aphrodite. She has to be like, and then we have to have final closure with Aphrodite where she's like, I want you to move on. I want you to move on. And he's like, you want me to move on? She's like, I want you to move on.
Conversation.
And then he's like, okay. And then he
Also,
steps out
Stark
and he's
is
like,
already in love with Casey.
And then he's like, I think I'm going to move on. And then we leave, and then we're fucking like, God damn. So.
And then Nefrit calls her boyfriend the Bull, and he's like, all right, amuse me, and I'll take you over there real quick. My heartless one.
Yeah,
and she made
this part broke me.
Okay. Given Neferet and the Bull's history, given their previous sexual relationship, I really wish they'd chosen a different phrasing than mount me. And she goes, okay, I will mount you.
Yeah, right. The other thing,
he could have just said, hop on my back.
The other thing is that we are spending 3 fucking chapters watching motherfuckers cross over. Why can't we just get over there and like, ha ha ha, Nefret's over there? Why can't we just fucking assume the dumb whore found a way over?
Yes, and especially because we've got so many pre-established now different methods of traveling.
There's literally, I think, like 5 ways to get over.
Here's how you cut out some bullshit. Kevin and I guess James come over with the fucking gaggle of losers. All right, they all go over there. We just assume that Spider Bitch comes over at some other point, and we cut out 2 chapters of fucking horse shit, and then I don't kill myself. That's what we could have done. We could have done that, but no, it's just 3 fucking chapters of motherfuckers crossing over. We don't need this.
And then they get back, and Kevin meets Shawnee, and he's already in love with her already. And they figured out she has a fire affinity, and that's that. Zoe, they meet Shawnee, and then other Nefret shows up.
Yeah, they're like, we have to go back to Sky to find other Nefret because they know that they need her for the spell to raise Kelowna, because that's why they're
she just shows
there
up
to raise Kelowna. But she's like, hi guys, looking for me? And they're like, well, yes, we absolutely were. And she's like, okay, well, let's do a truce and raise
because I want to kill Nefret, and let's raise Kelowna. And then,
so what we
and they're like, how can we trust you?
Nothing happens.
She's like, well, and she's like, because I've got all my evil little tendrils here, and they can all kill you if I told them to right now, and I'm not doing it. So shut up.
Yeah. And so
other Neferet got a round of applause for me for that, because she's like, if I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead.
And so then essentially I don't know that I'm skipping anything because fucking nothing happens. What we do is we go through an elaborate fucking bunch of bullshit to raise fucking Kelowna. We shoot Nefret. Lynette gets all upset, and we do a thing to raise Kelowna.
They realize they're imprinted.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Kelowna the Silver Wings, he's here. And then
we never find out why he decided to go have a nap in the earth for centuries.
No, we don't. And so
we did. We found out last book. Yeah, he chose last 2 so he could get his brother a lover who was a guy. That's it. We spent a novella length with them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh.
I watched the last stream. I got you guys.
And so
thank you.
We raise Kelowna. Yeah. And then so we spend like way too fucking long raising Kelowna.
And chapter 34 by the time we finally raise him, and there's only 35 chapters in the book.
And so then our Nefret shows up. Kelowna and our Nefret start fighting, and then we realize that the Nefrets have to fight it out. So you know what point there was to fucking raising Kelowna and the Silver Wings? Fucking none. Fucking none. So we went through all of that shit to raise Kelowna. So
I guess to reunite him with Nyx. It was to reunite him with Nyx.
You could have just not fucking bothered.
Yep. So they realized as well that the key to stopping Aphrodite's vision from happening where everyone dies is to protect Lynette. Because other Nefret has a friend, and they need to protect the friend, or she will yeet.
Also, Aphrodite starts calling other Nefret High Priestess, and then our other Nefrets like, these people are my family.
So
like,
we've redeemed other Nefrit, like
in 2 lines.
All the other shit that she did. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck. Well, nobody gives a fuck.
You know who is the freaking arbiter of gets to like whether or not she deserves to be forgiven? Fucking people that aren't even from her world. How would you feel if someone had freaking enslaved you practically and subjugated you for God knows how long? And then some other people from another world just come in and go, you know what? No, she said she's sorry. So you just have to be fine with it.
This would literally be like if aliens just came in and decided we should forgive Hitler, and we were all like, wait, no. No.
But
no.
But we spoke to him in the afterlife, and he's really, really sorry.
He regrets it, man.
Fuck off. Yeah, don't take a shot every time I say fuck. Please don't.
You do not get to forgive someone on somebody else's behalf. You don't.
And then
you just don't.
Then Nefrit and other Nefrit have a conversation that's essentially a recap of Nefrit's curse, but you had to read it to fully understand what's happening here. And
which
essentially,
is cool, by the way.
Essentially, our Nefrit is horrible because she didn't choose to find love after her father brutally raped her and molested her for a really long time. And then other Nefrit gets stabbed. Then we see the entire thing again from Zoe's perspective. And then Aphrodite gives Nefrit like a second chance using her power, which is the one thing I texted TJ about this. I was like, this is the one thing I wish they'd actually recapped us on, because that happened in book 1 where she got the power to give people second chances.
Yeah.
And so she does, and then Nefrit's 16 again, and she calls herself Emily now.
Yeah. So
she's a fledgling.
Nyx rocks up.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then Nyx rocks up, and she's like, Emily Wheeler, you have a second chance. Now you, Neferet, you are still evil, and now you cease to exist. And then she claps her hand and she stops existing. I'm like, why couldn't our Nyx do that? Our Nyx could have done that. She had the power.
And then she makes everyone a vampire. She makes Lynette a vampire. She makes Shawnee a fully fledged vampire for no reason. Because this Shawnee did nothing except for exist.
Yeah. Yeah, she makes Lynette a vampire to help guide Emily.
Also, if they had actually done their redemption arc right, would have made sense, honestly. But because of how shoddily it was done, it was fucking stupid.
Also, I don't remember who she tells us to, but Nyx tells someone she approves of their taste in men. Continue.
Now, all the warriors that were fighting on Neferet's side during this thing, she looks at them and she's like, you all need to try again. And she claps her hands and they're all 5-year-olds.
Human little 5-year-olds.
And I'm like, yeah, they all, and she's like, some of them will become vampires, some won't. Who knows? I'm thinking, well, that just undoes all of the law. But also, you think it's an appropriate response to anyone who doesn't agree with you to turn them into orphan toddlers. It's like if you had a local council election, right? Everyone that voted for the side that lost, the new mayor goes, bam, and they're all toddlers so they can relearn how to think.
And then she and Kelowna yeet.
Yeah. Oh, she's like,
what are they going to do with all these children?
Yeah. Oh, and because Anastasia like even says to Zoe like later on, she's like, do you want to take some of them with you? And Zoe's like, nah, I don't want to raise a
this was your gift.
5-year-olds. And Anastasia's like, great, now I literally have to I am now a foster care. Yeah, I'm now a foster mother to God knows how many 5-year-olds.
And so everyone votes to go back home acting like they haven't been here for 20 minutes because they've literally been here for 20 minutes, but they're like, oh my God, I'm so ready to go home.
And everybody's so worried because
we've been gone for 20 minutes.
Because everybody's like, Nefrit's but everybody's like, but everybody back home is so afraid of Nefrit. And Damien's like, yeah, Jack's probably like sitting there crying. I'm like, Jack's always crying. That's like not new. But also everybody back home knows that Nefrit's here. They're not worried about her eating because like she's not. If nobody's dying, then Nefrit's over. Like everybody got the fucking memo.
Oh, because another thing as well is Nyx is like, oh, Casey, you're turning into quite the little prophetess. So you could stay if you want. And then she just leaves it at that. Oh, and she also looks at Rafame and goes, as I am
and then
just like my sister Nyx, I feel like it is within my power to fully absolve you. So she turns him into a vampire.
Oh, does she? I thought she just turned him into not a bird.
She turned him into a vampire.
She turned him into a red vampire.
You become a vampire, and you become a vampire, and you.
And I'm just like, and I'm like, other Nyx, that's not your place. Again, you don't get to forgive people on someone else's behalf.
Well, Casey decides to stay in the other world. Anastasia is like,
suck dick.
Anastasia is like, so you guys should come visit once or twice a year, and they're like, fuck yeah, we'll come in August.
Because Emily Wheeler, aka former Other Neferet, now has an affinity
for old magic. But before we find that out, my best friend shows up and Zoe kisses him twice.
Oh yeah, Kevin's like, oh, by the way, Zoe, look over there. I'll just leave you with it, and then
that is like,
and then they crash tackle each other, and he's like, I'm.
And Stark is just
I'm
so
a business
excited
major with a minor in animal studies.
No, you're not. You're a fuckwit. That broke me.
You cannot but pass Math 101. You are
and
not
he's like, and I'm not even
business.
like drinking anymore. And I'm like, bitch, I am. Like, fuck.
And Stark shows up and is like, hey, Zoe, it's time to leave. Hey, Heath, my best friend ever. And I'm like, you...
No.
What?
You tolerated Heath.
Yeah, they were not friends. He was friends with Aurochs, not Heath.
Yeah.
Which we spent a lot of time making a differentiation between the two of them.
He got along well enough with Heath, given the situation. He got along well enough with him. That was it. They weren't buddies.
And then they go home after finding out Neferet and Emily Wheeler, whatever the fuck nut, has an old magic affinity, and the book ends,
and it ends with hell.
The end for now? Question mark. And that's it. That's it.
That is the series. Hopefully forever. Probably not.
They want to do a Grandma Redbird novella. I know that.
Yeah. Before I go on, before we go on to the thingy, I was looking up. They've all removed all mention of the Dizasters from both of their websites.
I need to know the tea.
Book two was supposed to be out in February. Book 2 was meant to be out in February.
I need the tea.
Maybe you could tweet your new best
friend. When's book 2? Dizasters coming out. I'll tweet her in like a few
excited.
Days. Am I just gonna fake being best friends with PC Cast, guys?
God,
yes.
Okay, so fan Q&A. Are you going to introduce a new world when this one ends, or is this the final goodbye to our beloved characters? As you can see by the conclusion of Found, I left a giant opening for another book/series, but at this time I'm going to focus on the TV series. In the future, though, ... Okay. Did you ever imagine that the world you created would become as iconic and magnificent as it is in modern literary culture?
That's fucking funny as shit.
Literary culture.
And then PC said, I did not. I simply began House of Night as I begin everything I write. I create the book I most want to read. I'm honestly astonished when other people love my worlds too. And then Kristen said, I was 19 when we started writing the first book. Even though I'd watched my mom work a full-time job and write books for multiple publishers, I knew the series would be enormously successful. Was I naive? For sure, but I was also super lucky. How did it feel rewriting characters for the Otherworld / returning characters who were alive in the Otherworld but killed off in the original House of Night series? Returning to the House of Night, okay, was like coming home. I hadn't realized how much I missed Zoe and the gang until I began writing them again. I love the Otherworld. I love that the Otherworld has given me an opportunity to revisit characters. It's nice to see versions of Heath happy and healthy and living his dream. And Jack, it was so great to return him to my beloved Damien.
Gross.
Then
there's a really long question about like advice for aspiring authors. I don't fucking care. I don't think anyone cares.
I have followed the House of Night series from the beginning, and there have been some life lessons I've taken away from the series. So my question is, what is the biggest thing you'd like your readers to take away from the series? I want my readers, especially young women, to take away the knowledge that they can and should make mistakes, learn from them, and do better without carrying around the baggage of judgment and hypocrisy.
I texted you guys about this one.
Under which the patriarchy likes to smother us. Double standards should be called out. Barriers should be smashed. I also want
consequences should be eliminated. Sorry.
Yep.
I also want the House of Night stories to help my readers open themselves to others who are different from them. To know what's important is the quality of a person's character and not the color of his or her skin. What goddess/god, he/she, good God, it does or does not work.
This sentence is a mess.
Or his/ okay, you already did his
their sexual orientation.
You already did his or her. You can't start doing neutral. Just do neutral pronouns, okay? It's okay. Basically, I hope House of Night has taught its readers to believe that the strongest force in the universe is love, always love, and to live their lives accordingly.
Again, for $20,000, guys, we will get matching tattoos that say love, always love. Anyways.
Out of all the characters in the series, who would you choose to be in your circle? Zoe, she has affinity for all 5 elements and the blessing of a goddess. Shawnee, I love me a good fire spell.
That was PC and Kristen, respectively.
Yeah. We'll just say, if we don't say who it is, it'll be PC, and then we'll just say when it's Kristen answering, because PC is answering most of them.
Yeah, because she's the main writer.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, kind of cutting out questions that don't really matter. Okay, which character... My question for both of you, which character will always stay with you? How much of the locations and cultural factors were from Oklahoma when writing the series? And what were the other places you pulled from? The entire nerd herd...
That's a pretty easily answered question because there's pretty obviously places that they pulled from. Whatever.
The entire nerd herd will always be with me. After 15 years of writing them, they are part of my life forever. Are you okay?
I just read the next paragraph.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't be happier about it. I've said many times, Tulsa is more than a location in the House of Night. Tulsa is a character shining a spotlight on the closed-minded, hypocritical Bible Belt culture is a big part of why I wrote the House of Night. And
let's just shit on an entire region
matriarchal
of the fucking US.
Vampires set deep in the middle of evangelical land. I'm happy to say...
You know what, PC? Grow your own fucking food.
I'm happy to say that I have watched hordes of Oklahoma teens grow up to be inclusive of others unlike themselves and question the subjugation of the Bible Belt patriarchy. Like PC, the entire nerd herd will always stay with me, but if I had to choose one character, I would definitely be Aphrodite. Fuck off. Leave Aphrodite out of this. If you could bring back a character from any books prior, who would it be and why? Jack, which I did in writing House of Night Otherworld books. He is the personification of kindness.
No, he's not. He's the personification of an adult toddler. Anyways.
I'm sorry, but crying that grandma got hit, was in a car accident when you literally never met her yet. Because I don't think Jack had met her yet, from memory. And if he had, it only
he hadn't. 2 seconds. He actually hadn't.
No, and he burst into tears.
That's not kindness. That's creepy.
That's
because
weird.
You can be like, oh my gosh, Zoe, I'm so are you okay? What can I do for you? That's fine. Bursting into tears over my grandmother's fucking weird.
Yeah, especially now everyone's having to comfort you.
Look, if I come to you and I'm like, hey, babe, my grandmother died, and Bae starts bursting into tears, and now I have to do something about that, but my grandmother just died, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because my grandma died.
Yeah, the only time you accept that kind of behavior from someone is when they're 4.
Or like
because
or if your friend was
young children
by your grandmother or something, like then that's that's completely different.
Yeah.
But normal friendship
young children are inherently, it's all about them, and that's what it is with Jack. Every single time something happens that's mildly upsetting to most people, he's in tears and everyone's having to comfort him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him around.
What was your favorite part about writing the new book? Did you have a special place you went to for inspiration? I loved writing this whole book so much, but the epilogue is my special favorite. It was so fun to bring in Heath and give him and Zoe some closure. It was
They
also
had closure!
Goodbye, guys. Goodbye.
It was also awesome
you.
to show that
It was really nice knowing all of you.
Other Kevin and he her. But my very favorite is the last part where we learn that what affinity Nick granted Emily/other Nefret. As for inspiration, I'm always inspired by Tulsa. For this book, I returned to Woodward Park and then wandered around Cassica. Oh yeah, the school in which I based the Tulsa House of Night and reminded myself my early House of Night roots. Oh my God. When writing, is it easier to have everything planned out from the start to finish or have an idea and just wing it as you go? I've always been curious how professional writers think. When I have to do a paper for class, I always have my topic and gather my support and just wing it. This differs for each writer. There is no correct way to plan and then write a book. I approach it in different ways depending on whether I'm writing alone or with Kristen. If alone, I do a lot of research and brainstorming. I make notes and do a rough outline that ends up looking like a long synopsis. When I write with Kristen, we research and brainstorm together, and then we write a general outline of the book. We divide the cast of characters. Who writes the chapter depends on whose character is the focus, and then we outline each chapter for the entire book. Remember, for the House of Night, Kristen was my frontline editor. We don't actually co-write the series. We are, however, co-writing a brand new trilogy at this time called Sisters of Salem.
So that, I guess, they're replacing Die Sisters.
I want to know what the...
I want to know what the T is.
PC Cast.
I'm guessing it didn't do well.
PC
She followed you back.
She followed you?
She didn't follow me. She didn't follow... I'm really upset now. She didn't follow me back. Maybe because I'm not an author. That might be why.
Fucking lol. PC Cast now follows us on Twitter.
How long does your research process take? House of Night series is quite unique. A huge amount of research happened before I even thought of the House of Night because I lived in Tulsa. I was fortunate that when I began expanding on the House of Night world to Scotland and Italy, that I was able to travel to the Isle of Skye and the Scottish Highlands, where I lived on and off for about a year, as well as visit San Clemente Island.
If she lived in the Scottish Highlands for a year, she would know that the Isle of Skye is nowhere near Inverness.
By Highlands, she probably means like Edinburgh.
Probably. But still, she would know that they were nowhere near each other. If she's been to the Isle of Skye, she would know.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
If you could go back in time before ever writing your first House of Night novel, what advice would you give your younger selves? I'd tell myself that I should try writing 2 books at the same time sooner than I actually did it. It makes my professional life a lot easier. I'd also tell myself to be wiser about friends who were wolves in sheep's clothing. Kristen said, drop out of college. I'm still paying off loans for a degree I never completed.
How expensive was your college if you were still paying off loans, Kristen?
Yeah, your family's a millionaire's family. Okay.
Was it always your plan for
You
Heath
just sold
to...
a book. She just sold a TV deal. She gets a good chunk of money out of that.
Was it always your plan for Heath to die? I also want to point out that it was super clever to do the opposite. Meaning for Bulls, I really hope they hold open auditions for the cast. No, I didn't know that was going to happen until Kelowna did it. Often my characters do things I don't expect. And this time it was a massive shock. And yes, our producers do plan on holding open auditions.
Guys, let's audition for House of fucking Night. Yo, I'll fucking audition for House of Night. I'm not an actor. I'm not a good actor. I will audition. Even if I'm just a background character, fucking let's do it. Mar, you gotta come to the US.
It's so far.
Let's go. Addie, let's go.
Especially if they're filming in like Atlanta.
Let's go.
Most things film in Atlanta.
Who are you going to audition for?
I'll put on a brown wig. You know, I'll be Aaron. You be Zoe. It's fine.
I don't want to be Zoe.
No, they're only
get all the
cast
boyfriends.
They will only cast a Native American person as Zoe.
Okay, yeah. You know what? You dye your hair blonde. We'll audition for like Aaron and Aphrodite. That's what we'll do.
I'm game.
Contacts.
Fucking
they got contacts on us. It's fine. It's cool. It's fine. If you and Kristen were to live in these books, what would your roles be? For example, would you want to be a professor, high priestess, someone on the side of evil, etc.? If I could live in the House of Night world, I would want Lenobia's job. And then Kristen said I would for sure be on the side of evil.
I don't know what I'd be doing,
but I'll be doing it evilly.
Oh, this is gonna be juicy. To me, Lauren Blake seemed like he had a story that was waiting to be told. As much as he gave in to Nefret, he had some humanity that stood out when Nefret killed him. Did you ever have any other plans with Lauren's character? Lauren Blake was a predator.
This is what we were saying.
Blake was a predator in the original series and a weak, egotistical man in the other World series. When he writes Sky with his blood as he was dying, he didn't do it because there was a good guy lurking below his shallow surface. He did it because he wanted revenge. We didn't write it that way.
Yeah, like again, we've said this so many times, but any perceived misconceptions, according to the cast, that people have about the quality of Lawrence Blake's character is your fault.
Yeah.
If you didn't write him as a shallow character, if you wrote him as someone with a little bit of depth, then maybe you would have gotten the point across more.
So, regarding the House of Night TV series, what's it like behind the scenes for you? What decisions do you have to make to transfer a book to a TV show? What's the process like? And if you picked the actors for the show, by the time you publish these questions, what helped you know that they would portray the character the way you wanted them to? Right now, we're in the beginning stages. Kristen and I are highly involved in advising our wonderful screenwriter and also helping our producers compile analytics for our House of Night fan base. We'll continue to be highly involved in every aspect of the series with the blessing of our wonderful producers. DCTV?
I Googled it. It's not a big thing.
Interesting. What's next in your...
I'm just saying if Don...
Those are the guys that did Shadow whatever.
Yeah, and that series was good. It was a very
PC
well done
confirms
series.
that her dad is named Dick Cast, by the way.
So a few questions. You were an English teacher. Did you?
Wait. They confirmed they're taking a break from House of Night.
Well, that's good.
But no, it's not, because that means they're taking a break. They're not done with it.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways, yeah, Sisters of Salem. Anyways.
You were an English teacher. Did you come up with the idea for the original House of Night series so that your students would enjoy reading assignments? Did you hope they would get hooked on the series like we all have? I love English as a subject, and I would have been in heaven if my English teacher had done so. I taught high school English for 15 years and had published over a dozen adult books when I began writing House of Night. I chose to make House of Night YA because I was excited by the excellent storytelling that was beginning to happen in that genre. As an English teacher, I read the same books my students were reading, which made me want to set up House of Night as an alternative high school. The fact that my students started reading and loving House of Night was a wonderful bonus surprise. What's up?
They want Dwayne Johnson to be Kelowna, and I can't imagine that whatsoever.
That's
who
so
you want
weird.
as Kelowna? You want Jason Momoa to be Kelowna.
Yeah, that would
You want
work.
Jason Momoa.
They want
They want The Rock.
Like no.
Okay. I've always seen Angelina Jolie as Nefret. No. Michelle Pfeiffer as Lenobia, and Dwayne Johnson as no. I would love
Angelina
to see
Jolie and Michelle.
No, and then no.
Wait,
I would love to see Joel Kinnaman as. I don't know who that is.
I'm gonna find out who the fuck this is. Okay, let's see.
Oh
no, I always no. I don't see that either. That's not Dragon. Dragon has a rounder face.
Yeah. No.
I mean, and he's paler.
I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer, I get, but like, no, I don't.
No, because, well, for example, for starters, Michelle Pfeiffer is like what, in her 50s? Lenobia looks like she's 25.
The other thing too is that like, even if you could get Jason Momoa or Dwayne Johnson to do that, which you couldn't, like they'd be too old at this point.
Okay, like give her a I'm sorry, but give her a cooler skin tone, and you know and lighter eye, like, and gray eyes, but just her facial structure and everything. Brie Larson is more how I see Lenobia, but with a cooler skin tone and blue eyes. Like, she's got, like, you know, just soft features. Michelle Pfeiffer has pronounced features, and Lenobia was never described as having sharp features. And Angelina Jolie as Neferet is. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form. I pictured Neferet as pretty. I pictured Neferet with an oval face and, you know, well, for starters, an oval face, which is nothing like. Again, and this is why character descriptions are important, because you're picturing Michelle Pfeiffer as Lenobia, and that is not what your readers are getting.
Yeah,
and Angelina Jolie is Neferet.
Yeah,
and
like
in no way, shape, or form has Kelowna ever been described as looking anything like The Rock.
No.
You know how, like,
I always imagined Kelowna with like shoulder length hair.
And
also, I say Jason Momoa.
Yeah, and like, I'm not gonna lie as well. The way he was described as more like built but more lean muscled. Like, he wasn't pictured as a walking boulder. Like, he wasn't described as a walking boulder. Yeah. And so even in their own heads, they can't even translate what they're picturing in their own heads to paper, is what we're getting. Can you imagine The Rock with hair? Dwayne Johnson with shoulder-length hair?
No. Yeah, because like, I think, isn't that how we all imagine Kelowna?
That's how he's described.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, because like, I've had people say to us and to me about like the Rosalie Watson series, like when they read the books and then afterwards go look at the character portraits, they're like, oh yeah, that's what I was picturing in my head. And I'm like, oh good, at least I can, the very least, even if the rest of it's shitty, which it's probably not, I can at least describe characters, because if the character portraits are what you saw in your head, then I did something right. I at least described people correctly. But
yeah, like how I pictured, not fully, okay, but just more vibe-wise with Neferet. There's a lot, the way she's described, there's a lot more of a Christina Hendricks vibe than Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
not fully
I totally
face
agree
shape,
with
different
that.
face shape, but yeah. Yeah. Like, did they just pull people out of their asses when they were?
They probably just pulled like the most famous people they could think, or PC did. She pulled the most famous people she could think of.
Yeah, that's how I imagined it too. Yeah, because Angelina's Jolie. Okay. I never imagined Nefret with like basically cheekbones that could murder someone.
Cut a man.
Cut glass. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't imagine her as like really soft featured. Like, I mean, like me basically. Like you know, I don't really have super sharp features, but like,
yeah,
I didn't imagine her like that. But I also didn't imagine her like
angular.
Super angular either.
No. Like, she seems kind of neutral.
Yeah.
On the angles.
Yeah.
Alas, apparently. She's Angelina Jolie with red hair, apparently.
So anyway,
that's
the end for now, question mark.
Yep.
Until we do our re-outline, and then when the TV series comes out in a couple of years, we are going to review that.
Yep. Yeah, we will be doing an episode by episode stream.
Yep.
When the TV series comes out. Won't that be fun?
I'm excited for that too.
They are going to be very involved, which I'm not as happy about.
You know what though?
That's what they should do.
I know, but you know what though? I think it will be far more fun to watch.
Yes.
If they stick as close to the book as possible.
Also,
but if they stick as close to the book as possible, though, it's going to be cancelled after a season.
Yeah,
which would suck.
So
because we're never going to get to Kelowna. I want to see the bad CGI wings. I want to see the shitty CGI wings.
It's
hello.
Oh, what just happened?
I don't know.
What just happened? I don't know, but I'm back.
Hello.
Yeah, I hope it's tragically bad and lasts forever.
I agree.
Yeah. I want it to be good enough to get like more than one season.
I want it to be good enough to get the entire series.
What would you do if they get it to Otherworld?
I don't think even a TV show can fix that.
If they keep it the same and get to the Otherworld.
God, honestly, I fucking hope so. Like, I want, like, we've come this far.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Like, honestly, fuck it. We've come this far.
I hope it happens.
So do I.
I also really hope the show gets past pilot, because everything they're doing, if it doesn't pass pilot stage, then it's all over Red Rover.
Yeah.
My fingers are crossed.
Same.
Because if it doesn't get past pilot stage, we're never even seeing the pilot.
And we have to. At the very least, we have to see that.
I feel like it's going to be cancelled like after a half season.
That'd be so sad.
I feel like it's going to be cancelled after a half season unless they completely rewrite it.
Yeah, unless they Vampire Diaries it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, like...
I hope so.
DC and Chris are going to have to get the fuck over it, and they're just going to have to Vampire Diaries it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But they definitely can't keep that timeline. Anyways, yes.
Yeah.
So we will catch you guys next time.
Yes, we will.
All right.